Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and thanks for stopping by. Our dedicated team will guide you through with the latest updates and theories at Starbase, Texas. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for future streams.
9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.
Hello, everybody. My name is Zach Golden. Welcome to another Starbase Weekly live stream. We are going to have quite a show today because, as most of y'all know, we had a little bit of an incident with Booster 18 this week, so I imagine that's going to take up a lot of our time discussing all of that today. We got some fantastic images, which far exceeded anything I think most people were expecting, so I'm really excited to cover that. Before we do that, I'm going to introduce our guest today, which will be Alex. Alex, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure to be here. Good morning, everyone. And yeah, I'm kind of excited to look at everything and talk about all the excitement that happened this week.
Every time you say you're excited, you don't actually sound excited, I realized.
That's curious. Now everybody's going to get drunk today. Oh, wait.
Yeah. And we also will be having Ryan with us today. Ryan, thanks for being here.
Pleasure as always. Yeah. Did something happen at Massey today this week?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a cloudy week. As y'all can see with these this little intro, I always like to start off with like a view of both the launch site and build site if possible. So y'all can see that it was quite cloudy this week, but we got super lucky and were able to capture some really great shots. So I'm always super impressed with the quality of images that Mauricio is able to capture from the altitudes that he's shooting at. So this week is definitely no exception. Probably one of the craziest ones that I've seen. I'm like, if this goes in the top 5 as far as like details captured in 1 week, I would say. And for those of you who are members of the channel or patron members, I do recommend joining if you haven't already. And if there was one flyover that you wanted to download out of any of the ones in the last year, this would probably be the one, because there's just so many images to go through. I didn't even count this week, but I'm sure there's probably like at least 300. So yeah, quite a lot to go through. So it's nice to have them for yourself. If you would like to download those, make sure to check out that link if you're a member or patron. So with that, we'll go ahead and move over to Massey's. And as most of y'all know, there was a lot of excitement early in the week because Booster 18 finally rolled out. And SpaceX posted some really great images of that as it rolled out and moved over to Massey's for testing. So as Booster 18 rolled out, Booster 17 rolled in to Mega Bay 1 to begin scrapping on that. And that's, I think, cut in half currently. I think they're working on the aft section right now. So we'll see a lot of that when we get to Sanchez. But Booster 18 moved over to Massey's to be the first version 3 booster to do a cryo test. And to be honest, I don't think most of us were expecting anything too crazy because really most of the issues have been happening with the ship ever since like Flight 2. Like the booster's been pretty flawless since Flight 2. It has had, issues here and there, specifically like with the boost back and, losing engines and whatnot. But for the most part, it's been pretty solid. And so, moving from V2 to V3 is a pretty big change, which we'll see here shortly. There's I would say there's bigger differences with V2 and V3 boosters than really with like more differences with that than there are between SN8 and the V3 ships, I want to say. Like it just feels like such a massive rework from V2 to V3. Just so many changes on that vehicle. So, I think we were really expecting probably a smooth cryo process because we've never seen any issues with boosters, especially during cryo tests, but that did not end up being the case. So most of y'all have probably seen this footage. This one is from Lab Padre. I think I actually haven't watched this yet because I'm not sure which version this is. We made a few different versions, Jeff and I. So this is actually a slow motion version right here, both from Lab Padre and NSF. I'm going to show the. Let's see. Does it go to the normal speed? Yeah, I think this might be normal speed right here. Sorry, let me grab a different one. Let's see.
You see the COPVs just spilling all their gas out at the end.
Yeah, this is the real-time version right here. So you can see that it popped basically from somewhere on the opposite side, which most of the camera views that you're able to get don't show that side. So like a lot of the photographers who posted images of it weren't able to capture the actual side where it popped from because there's really no way to do that without getting on the river or doing it from the air. But yeah, you can see that it pretty much. I think Scott Manley put it best when he said that it looked like Booster 18 was giving an ITAR flash to Mexico, because that's pretty much what it's doing. It looks like it's just like holding itself open right there on the bottom. And honestly, I think it was definitely a miracle that it didn't end up collapsing because of the fact that, for every booster before this, the actual skin of the booster and the internal tank pressure is basically what supplies its vertical strength. That's like the load-bearing structure. But apparently that is not the case anymore. I mean, it still is, but apparently the downcomer of this thing is able to hold it vertical, even with the skin compromised. So that's crazy. Let's go ahead and take a look at the damage. Oops, sorry about that. Yeah, and this is a sad one. And to be honest, Mauricio said this to me yesterday, and I feel the same. Um, these images like almost feel like we shouldn't even be showing them, but we're going to. So here's Booster 18. Like this whole flyover feels illegal, and I don't know. I feel like maybe I should apologize to SpaceX on behalf of us, because like I really felt like there was no chance we were ever going to see the inside of one of these V3 boosters, and I think they did as well too. So as much as I am excited to be able to discover some of these details, I also feel bad at the same time because, I feel like SpaceX is trying to move into the stage of um, truly respecting
Operational.
ITAR. You know what I mean? Like actually trying to keep things internal, literally. From doing everything behind closed door. Like with the booster, anytime they do anything with the booster inside the Mega Bay, that door is down. We don't get to see anything with these boosters except for them rolling out across the ring yard. We really don't get to see anything until they're fully stacked. So, yeah, they really do put a lot of effort into kind of covering up this stuff, especially the aft section. So, before we get to the internals, we can see from the outside this big, huge gash on the side of it. You got like the front set of chines right here. Sorry, these I always call the front one strakes, chines on the back, and I always get confused if I'm backwards on that. But let's call these the chines on the back. And one of the things that a lot of people were wondering when it rolled out was like, what is under the chines? And obviously, we expected COPVs on some of them, but we weren't sure if they're on all of them. But I guess we were able to finally confirm that these V3 boosters have a lot of COPVs. Like these aero covers go significantly higher on the than they did previously. I think they were all about this height, right? Like this is about the height of the old version,
Yeah, about.
and they were the same on basically all four sets. And one of them had the fire suppression system, which I believe was on the front side.
Yeah,
And
that
on
was
the
on the
back.
QD side.
Yeah,
Yeah. Which
yeah, and
now the
which I
QD
guess would be
side
this side.
changed though.
Yeah, so it'd be this side technically. I get confused when I'm looking at that. Yeah. Either way, you had COPVs on one side, and then you had the CO2 tanks on the opposite side. So they got rid of well, we expected they would get rid of the fire suppression system because on these V3 boosters, they're using the Raptor 3s, which do not have the engine shroud. So we were expecting that they just like wouldn't need a fire suppression system. So it was a bit curious when this first rolled out, like what was underneath these. And like I said, now we know a lot more COPVs. So I don't know. I feel like they increased the number of COPVs on this thing by like 60%. Would you guys agree with that?
It's almost, well, you got to look at that as if, well, they had 4 chines before. 2 chines were just the steel tanks and 2 chines were just the COPVs. Now all 4 chines are COPVs and there's 2 of them that are larger. It's almost like they more than doubled the COPVs they have on board, which is curious.
Yeah. Why did I say 60%? That's like, let me rephrase that. How about what, 220%?
It's something like that.
That'd be
250.
120%.
Yeah. Math.
Yeah. I hate doing math on these streams. Anyways, yeah, so quite a massive increase. And I think a lot of that, I mean, what are your guys' opinions on why there would be so many more COPVs?
Is what they use. Well, they use them for, you get nitrogen for your valves. And probably to pressurize that lovely new landing tank that they have. That's now separated from the downcomer that they had before. Um, you, I mean, I wouldn't expect you need more torch igniter gas or spin up gas because you're not firing that, you're not really firing any more engines or relighting them any more times. It's odd. I don't know why they need so many.
Yeah, weird. I mean, I guess you do have, because when you have boost back, you're still relighting 13 engines, and with the landing burn, you still initially relight all 13 as well. So, we do know that for the final approach, they're going to have 5 engines, so go from 13 down to 5, and then down to 3, right?
Yeah.
But either way, all 13 will still be lit during the that initial part of the landing burn. So it's not like they have more restarts that they're going to be doing. So it is interesting to have more COPVs, but yeah, I guess tank pressurization for having a whole nother landing tank now is kind of where that seems to come from. And I guess let's look at it from a different angle. But I really quickly point out, so most of these COPVs are intact on this side. I don't think we actually truly have a view of that opposite side, but I think for the most part we can assume that those COPVs are gone. There are
You
some visible,
see the black stuff on the ground?
yeah, pretty
Although
much all over the place.
that's what's left of some of those COPVs. There's one sitting on the stand. There's a partial one sitting on the stand, at least the bottom part of one, and then the rest of them are carbon fiber confetti.
They did some cleanup as well, though. So
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah, that's
huge
what I was going to get into first. So you can see underneath down here that there is a bunch of they did clean it up for the most part, but there is a bunch of shrapnel around the. It's difficult to see it at the bottom of the screen down here, so it looks like they came out and cleaned up most of it, and I think they had to do that before anything else, especially before any of these normal vehicles are moving through here, because a lot of that can shred tires and whatnot driving over it. So yeah, this was definitely a big rescue mission for the LR 11,000, which was over here and had to. We don't see them crawl over bare concrete like this too often. I remember even when they had to save SN9, they laid out cribbing in a path all the way, leapfrogged the cribbing all the way to the high bay from Sanchez in order to do that. But here they just went straight to it. And I think this was kind of probably felt risky on their side, because their goal was basically to attach to the top of it. So they got the crane connected to the top of it safely without anything happening. So that was good. But yeah, watching them connect to the top of this thing was something I don't know if I would be willing to do, to tell you the truth. With this being mostly held up essentially by the downcomer at this point, it's pretty, first of all, crazy that it just didn't fall over. I definitely would not have expected that. I think any other booster would have collapsed.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. If this had been booster 17, it would have crumpled over and hit the concrete without a doubt.
Yeah. And I think one of the good things to point out is that this happened during a pressure test, and not during a cryo test, and especially not during a static fire test. So if there was any time for this to happen, now was the time. So hopefully they'll get that resolved. The thing that seems to be clear, though, is that this is involving the COPVs to some degree, whether they're the direct cause or whether it's the actual high pressure pipework that's going between them is, I would say, unknown. But you can see, as Ryan was mentioning down here, there is a COPV that appears to have shot down through the. Let me see if I can get a top down on just that. So I'm pretty positive this is a COPV right here, right?
It's what's left of one, and then there's another one laying there. This
one actually went through the catwalk down here, and so all of this liquid that we see down here is most likely hydraulic fluid, probably from this COPV severing one of those hydraulic lines. And then what were you saying the other one was?
Literally on the stand right there. If you go back to that picture. It's literally right to the left. See the black cylinder lane? Yeah, that's it. That's one right there.
Yeah. Maybe that one was the one that did the damage to the hydraulics, because it This is the hydraulic accumulators, like underneath this thing. Or sorry, this is an accumulator. The hydraulic pump is in here, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe it was this one. Probably both. Well, actually, it looks like it's coming from this area and not necessarily from down here, so it probably is that one that did the damage. Yeah, so I mean, that was a pretty energetic explosion. It looked, I mean, almost identical to what we saw with Ship 36, except for the fact that there was no methane and LOX on board, so there was no actual explosion. But had there been fluid on board, that would have been, well, yeah, that would have been bad for sure. I think I doubt it would have stayed vertical with all that weight in the methane tank. I
Yeah,
think
if
that probably would have
if that had
collapsed.
been a full cryo and it did that, it probably would have collapsed.
Yeah.
If it was
Uh,
COPB being loaded up, it probably wouldn't have contained any propellant yet.
Yeah,
right.
that's true.
That's true.
Depends on
Um,
where they were in their loading process.
Gas
I think
phase.
that is one of the first things I do is pressurize COPVs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause they've
which is
been
why.
testing it all night. They had tested it since like the evening. So they'd been testing it through the night, or at least Massey's was closed through the night. So who knows? They might have been pressurizing it or depressurizing it. It's kind of the thing is we don't know where they were in their gas system pressure test when it happened.
Right. What we do know is pressurized, and that whatever failed unzipped the tank basically. You can see that something penetrated through the transfer tube.
And
Yeah.
So
did it up there too and dented it.
yeah, up here.
Ah.
So that there probably another. See, I bet you there's probably a COPV in that tank that we can't see. But we can see some pretty awesome shots inside the tank if you happen to not be paying attention to that a few seconds ago when I showed this. Yeah, some of the biggest mysteries that we've been wanting to figure out, I feel like are starting to become clear now. This is definitely something I didn't think we would ever get to see, for sure. And yeah, as you can see, things have changed. I mean, the V3 boosters have gotten more complex in some ways. I didn't necessarily expect the plumbing to become more complex. I think a lot of some of the decisions that they made with this make sense, and others are a little bit more confusing. But one of the big things that a lot of people have been wondering, basically since it rolled out for the first time, the tank that's mounted to the side of the booster, it's back here out of view. I guess that's been a big question over the last few months, like what that is about. And now we kind of know at this point that is the new liquid oxygen landing tank. So it's back in that behind the transfer tube essentially, and these are all the pipes that are coming from that. There's 10 of them that we can basically see spaghettiing through. It's like a spider reaching around the downcomer to attach to the liquid oxygen inlets on all of the center 13 engines.
I like the Block 2 setup a lot more. It looks better.
I think part of this was to move the center of gravity up a little bit on the booster. Since methane's less dense than LOX, it's raising the center of gravity up for a little bit more stability.
Yeah, I mean, their goal here was definitely to improve methane flow as well too, to some degree. I mean, literally, we did expect. I think for the longest time, people thought that part of this downcomer was holding liquid oxygen, and now I think we know for sure that that's not the case. So that entire massive tube is a transfer tube. There is some interesting stuff going on near the bottom of it, where all these pipes are basically like routed through it. So there's still some questions to answer there, But yeah, we do know, I guess, at this point that all 33 engines are, or sorry, this entire, what is it, like 3 meter wide transfer tube is literally all for methane. So you can see all of these pipes coming out of it down here, which are for the outer 20 engines. And then the ones down here are for the ring of 10. And yeah, very, very cool being able to see this. They're also, these are, like I said, the liquid oxygen pipes coming in through the top. And then you can see like the filters down here where they actually pull from the main tank. So this is basically header tank versus main tank down here. And then your methane's like right next to it. So pretty interesting layout, very different than what they had before. One of the cool things I think is these pretty decently sized pipes that are coming in down here, and these are basically like conduit, like electrical conduit almost, that goes all the way to the edge of the vehicle. And so we have seen in the past, I don't think we can see it in the I don't have an image ready that shows it, but basically these little boxes that are on the side, on the outside of the vehicle. Matter of fact, let me just get a different angle. Yeah, so you can see each of these little boxes down here that probably contain some controllers for the engines, but also all of these gas lines that are circling around here enter through there. So like everything that is being injected into the Raptors that is not a liquid is basically like coming in through these conduits. So if I had to guess, there might be like a long multiple flex hoses inside of here. So like you maybe have both your autogenous pressurization lines, and then you have like gas for your igniters and spin start, whatever, all going in through that conduit down into like through the thrust puck, and basically I'm guessing into the adjacent to the liquid oxygen inlet. So very interesting, because all of this stuff used to be below the liquid oxygen tank, and now it's inside of it. So very like the amount of stuff that's inside of this tank has increased like by 3x, I want to say. I can't even imagine trying to walk around through there.
And you see all those small lines that are all for the the pneumatic valves, so they can separate and everything.
Actually, two of those are the autogenous oxygen and methane.
Mm-hmm.
Those actually run independent of the startup. I'll call it a chase.
Yeah, there's I think they're referring to these smaller pipes that are coming off the conduit right here, and some of them actually like run from the outer wall or the inner wall over to here. Yeah, and these are actually right here. What you're seeing here are the housing for the TDC motors, basically. Not motors, sorry, the actuators. So this is the engine right here, and then you have your two TVC arms that reach over to that. So basically, all the TVC hardware is enclosed within those, which are recessed into the liquid oxygen tank. So, yeah, that's pretty awesome the way that I do like that part. Some of the other stuff going on down here is a little more questionable, in my opinion. What are your guys' thoughts overall? Were you expecting this to be quite as crazy as it is?
I mean, some of it, sure. I did not expect the 10 separate lines from that landing tank. Like, because we saw the side tank go in, and I just didn't know how they had it hooked up or anything. And to see it hooked up like a spider was weird.
There's one shot of it that the bottom, it looked like it might have a beehive with holes in it, but it wasn't very clear. And
what do you mean?
Yeah.
On the bottom of the side tank, when it was in the shadows on the fixture, it almost looked like there's a bunch of holes on the bottom of it.
Are you talking about? Oh, you're talking
Yeah.
about like from the ground view, or are you talking about
Yeah,
the?
when they were rolling it into
Gotcha.
Mega Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everything that was in the attic before is now inside the tank.
Or on the outside, or
Yeah.
in a circle. Because I do think it was kind of an interesting idea to basically take all of the gas manifolds and they made it all common. So it literally all you get is an inlet into that gas manifold, and then it goes to every single engine through basically a junction box. And it's kind of a cool idea because it's not going to sit on the aft of the booster anymore or inside any shielding. So they put it out there, and then the rest of it goes inside the tank. Because they've decided to stick a lot of stuff inside the tanks now, like including the raceway. Like half the raceway's in the tank, which is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The penetrations from the QD are also where they have some of the pressure lines and electrical coming in.
That is actually
But-
cool that you can. Now that I think about it, you could see the backside of the QD in that other shot.
Because you can see both.
Yeah,
can-
this is
that's-
basically
yeah, that's
the
the locks.
this is the QD right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is. Oh man, it's just so crazy. Like seeing all the shrapnel where everything ended up. Like you could see one of the chines over here.
And then there's a couple of those pipes inside look like something hit them.
Couple of dented lines.
Yeah.
I've been looking at this from a few angles, and I think this is like. These two things down here, like I noticed where this landed, these look like microphones to me.
Yeah. This is the best shot of the backside of the where
You
it was
can see
all
where it tore.
buckling.
Yeah, the weld line basically split in it right there.
You're talking about this right here.
Yeah,
Yeah. Where it was
that's just nuts.
probably the negative pressure wave after it blew out got the side buckling.
Yeah, and I did say at the beginning of the episode that you couldn't see it. We didn't have a good view of this side, but we actually do. So, yeah, you can see that all of them are stripped off of there. So,
Yeah, that's the chine basically that chine just blew up.
It almost looks like they pre-make the chines and just spot weld them to the side, but that seems crazy.
yeah, I'm actually surprised that the ones on this side falling off, because like you're saying, I mean, I guess it makes sense that they're kind of installed in a way that allows them to be like removable.
Yeah, it's weird.
But yeah,
I didn't expect this backside to be that buckling inwards.
right. Yeah, and I did see somebody from the. I knew this question was going to come. They're asking if they're not going to have the ice filters. I don't think we can say for sure on that yet, in my opinion, because that seems to be a feature that they add after cryo tests. So I think that's part of final outfitting. When the booster does its cryo test, they send it back to install engines, and then they do their static fire test. I feel like it either happens in between during engine install, or it happens after the static fire test. I'm pretty sure that they don't add that in there until they have fully tested the vehicle, because it does kind of compromise accessibility a little bit. And so I think that that's a final outfitting thing. And actually, we're gonna come back to Massey's, but I do want to just show Booster 17 in Sanchez to kind of like explain this point further. Yeah.
I'd say a good example is Booster 17 doesn't have it.
Yeah, exactly. So Booster 17 did not have it installed yet. I mean, it is possible that they removed it as they were scrapping it, but it also doesn't necessarily make sense to do that. So you can see that these are the kind of supports that go around the outside. They're the two levels of that mesh connect to this. So they basically, let me see if I can get like a better side view of it.
Yeah, it looks like you can see on the landing tank where it would connect
Where it
to.
mounts, yeah.
Yeah.
You can. It's here. These two brackets on the landing tank correspond to these two. So it kind of like slopes down. Both levels slope down towards the landing tank. So I think these are basically already on booster, or they were visible down there. So you can kind of see them. You can kind of see it right here. It's difficult to tell whether or not like it would actually fit right there, because there's some of these we can't really tell like the heights of them. So I don't know if it could actually go across like that. But I don't think we can rule out yet having a filter. And actually, instead of sloping down, they could potentially slope up towards the transfer tube this time.
I'm
Matter
of
of
the
fact, that
opinion.
whole transfer tube is like perfect for mounting that now. Like all these ribs on it, pretty easy to go from here to here. What was that?
But the autogenous lines are running through the tank, and they're quite narrow. They'd more, if they're have water in it, they'd more than likely freeze up. So there's a good chance Raptor 3s have reverted back to vaporizing the gaseous oxygen.
Yeah, that is. I don't think we've been able to. I mean, I guess the whether or not it had an ice screen was going to be our indication on whether or not that's what they're doing now. But I don't think we're able to like say for sure yet.
The lower raceway, you can see the penetrations through the wall and the.
Are you talking about the outer raceway?
The lower one where it's connected to the autogenous pressurization for both the methane and the LOX. They penetrate through the wall, and they're very small diameter tubes. So
it is interesting running those through. That's like, in my opinion, one of the most interesting things about this whole system is running autogenous lines through the LOX tank, because it's like basically a heat source at that point.
That's why I'm not thinking it's coming post pre-burner.
Yeah. Like, just look at all this. So wait, one of these. This is the. I think they're the two autogenous down here.
They're, I think, below that band.
Oh, you're talking about down here?
Yeah, actually, that one I think is probably the collection for engine chill, but they're very. I don't know if we'd see them that well through here,
right?
Because they're probably half a centimeter in diameter, if I had to guess.
Because all those lines are running to that chine.
Yeah, no, these run across the to the large locks on the raceway. They're similar in diameter to the ones poking out from the methane transfer tube. Yeah, we would need a ground shot when it was rolling out to see them.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess not to harp on the plumbing for too long. The other cool things that we did see when this rolled out, we did have a hint of this before from SpaceX's aerial shots, but yeah, being able to see actually, I think we saw this in some ground shots first when it was in the Star Factory, but you can see the pattern of basically heat shield on the forward dome. So this is basically an extra heat shield for those engines. You can see the 3 center engines right here, and then interesting pattern for the RVACs. I'm a little the sea levels make sense. So basically, one of the big questions that I know a lot of people have is about the hot staging, like actually directing the booster in a specific direction because they no longer have like that plate that they've been installing on the hot stage ring. So SpaceX has said that they plan to use the differential, like the ignition sequence, in order to do this. Have they said? Did they say they were going to do it with the ignition sequence or differential thrust? It was one of the
Trying to
two. I can't
remember.
remember. Yeah.
Remember it was the TV, or it was directing the exhaust a certain way or something with the TVC. I don't remember off the top of my head.
No, it was either with ignition sequence or the thrust. But either way, they do appear to have a different like configuration for how far the TVC is sticking out on the center engines. So it seems like this one right here, that engine would be gimbaled further outwards, and these ones are closer in. What are you guys' thoughts on the RVAC? So first of all, these two are symmetrical, and then this one is looks different. I'm a little bit confused on why these don't cover the full like footprint of the nozzle.
It is
They
odd, but
don't need to. The expansion after it's leaving, that's the only places where you'd have most of the direct flow hitting it. Cheap weight saving.
my
Shouldn't you
question,
need something down here? Like I would expect them to go all the
Also,
way down here.
it falls back quite a bit. I think it's worth it because it expands fairly quickly, and then the inner side, you'd have the plumes interacting with each other a lot more than the rapid expansion hitting.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Ryan?
I would say my question becomes is how do they replace this after it ablates enough, depending on after so many flights?
Yeah,
Or
that's been my question as well too. Uh,
they just
I don't
keep
think you
adding
can.
plates? They basically just add another plate on, and then after so many flights, you add so much plates that you then what? Like, because I was like, you had to. My guess when they originally were going to do this was like, okay, you have to add some kind of heat shield system that you can replace after a certain amount of time, but they just welded steel to the dome, and it's like, okay, but then that means it's only going to last for so long.
I mean, my opinion, it's proof of concept, and it's just part of the development process.
It's probably it too. They're probably like, well, let's try this and see if it works. If not, we'll go to our metallic tiles.
Or, I mean, is that the actual top of, or is that a shield on top of the actual forward dome?
That only
Um,
looks like at least 2 sheets worth of steel on top of the dome itself.
Yeah,
yeah, like
but
I have a feeling that this dome is. I've been talking to Ryan about this. He thinks it might be 4 millimeter, but I have a feeling that this is thicker than 4 millimeters. So if I had to guess, this is probably like at least 8, if not like 12. And then you have, so you go basically 12, 16, 20 millimeters right here.
Right.
So Starhopper levels of thickness.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we were looking at the hot stage ring, the initial hot stage ring, and they explained when they mentioned the weight, like it was like 9 tons, I think. It couldn't be 9 tons without having that thickness be more than 4 millimeters. It had to be like around 12. I can't remember the exact numbers that Ryan and I figured out based on his model. Or sorry, I think that was Nick. Yeah, so it had to be greater than like 12 millimeters, I think. And you could see it in the welds too, that you could tell that it was like far thicker paneling than what is used on the everywhere else. So I mean, that would be a very interesting thing to see what it looks like down the road, if how many times they're truly able to reuse this. I do imagine if they start to see like wear on this, then they'll probably iterate the design. They probably are, like you guys said, not expecting this to be the final version or something like that. So we'll have to see how they end up iterating this over time, or if they do.
Or is it the actual top of the forward dome, or that just a dome on top of the dome? So
No, this is the actual forward dome.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I don't see two weld lines where you would say a dome on top of a dome, unless one dome was welded to the other dome and not to the actual tank wall.
Well,
It's
we've
just along
seen
the perimeter.
cryo
So,
test of the 18.1 or 18.3. We've seen this cryo test, and it was frosty all the way up to the top. So, assuming that that this is representative of what the actual flight article is,
if it's close to each other, I'd expect it to, from just thermal conductivity, get frosty. I mean,
if it's a dome on top of a dome.
Yeah, I mean, it's gas that's cooling it anyway. So
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this is probably just one dome.
it might be. It's just along the perimeter, those little vertical welds just.
I suppose it's
I don't-
possible. I mean, these could be like the stringer, the ends of the stringers, though, like
Yeah,
tapering backwards.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool, but we'll never see it. How it's.
Yeah.
Well, we've said that before, and maybe we will.
True.
Go fly right now. We can see it scrapped, and then we can also see the common dome sump. Let's go.
It would be nice actually if we could. I don't think I was hoping we would be able to do another flyover this week, like early in the week. Now that they've, so you can see the different components as they're scrapped. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh well.
And-
Either way, overall, I do love the truss design. It's so N1-esque, really.
Yeah. I wish they would put the clamps in instead of the.
That was the other thing. It doesn't seem like the clamps are installed on this.
And it's
It just looks
weird
like
that the ship stand has 6, and they've got like before they just kept 3 on the actual vehicle.
and they're not equal either.
But yeah, they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely not installed, right?
I look either they're installed and totally covered, or there's just a cover. Because I know the wiring is there.
Just, flapping around.
Yeah, difficult to tell. Let's see. I'm sure we have some questions on this. Like, there's tons of other stuff that we also need to cover at Massey's, but I think we should probably take some questions on Booster 18 first. Oh, did Alex ever join us? Not sure. We have to have Matt.
He should be here. Give it just 1 second. If he doesn't pop in, I will get the questions ready and pop them off for you.
Okie dokie. Yeah, cool. I guess we'll keep moving. And then if he shows up, then we'll have him do that, and then Matt will do it if he doesn't. So, yeah, we'll move over to the static fire stand, which
one
is normally where we would have started.
Yeah, which one?
Yeah, so lots of good progress on this. I think they're basically like in their final stages of repairs on the actual test stand itself. You can see they've got the beams sticking out down here, which is basically where they're going to mount the access way. So I think they have that access way like sitting down here, basically the platform that goes around the edge. I think they replaced the stairs. Hard to tell.
thought they did.
Can't tell if
I
that's
don't think
scaffolding stairs.
I think
think that's scaffolding stairs.
the stairs were built into the leg, if I remember correctly, but the railing is what was blown off.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
that's yeah.
they basically need to add that walking platform around there and then the stair railing, but the clamps themselves are installed. Um, I think what else is it missing? It's missing the
RVAC.
the RVAC. Uh, there's like pedestals in here for the struts that attach to the RVACs, and those are not. We haven't seen those yet.
Might be somewhere around here.
They probably are. But interestingly, and this is something we have talked about on multiple occasions, when this would become necessary, and it looks like today is the day. We do see, if I can find the angle I'm looking for. Down here, we do have components for another static fire test stand arriving, which is awesome and also interesting. I guess, I definitely expected to see this sometime next year, but I don't know how necessary it is now. What do you guys think? Because obviously the rate of manufacturing of ships is going to increase dramatically, but they're at most only able to launch 25 times a year out of Starbase.
And
Mhm.
Is it 20?
Probably for
Is it 25 or is that KSC?
25.
25 is here.
Yeah.
And
So that's
then,
once every 2 weeks, essentially.
but then they have 39 and 37.
Which
I don't-
this is which this is going to have to Starbase will have to supply the ships for those until Star Factory's up and running. They're over there, and they haven't even started building Star Factory there. So another
True.
static fire stand will help because, as one thing I've been saying for a while, is they're not going to thrust sim every single starship. So if you got 2 static fire stands, you can cryo and static fire on that stand. Because I was actually asking Alice this. They can do LN2 through the new stand, is what it seems like. So you could cryo with engines and then static fire like you do with Falcon 9, and then 2 stands you can swap them, so it works. I think that's the
I
plan, anyways.
personally disagree with that. I think they're going to continue to do the thrust sim on every vehicle.
Every single one they make from here on out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see a reason not to, because then one time you don't, and then you have like a failure of that structure. Because it's not like you're verifying the design; you're verifying the fabrication. So I think that's something that's probably important to do, because you never know when a manufacturing defect will come. Similar to COPVs, like you could say, oh yeah, we never had a COPV failure. Maybe we can get rid of that initial pressure test. I think it's similar to that. Like, it's just something that you should always do. But I mean, it is possible that they may stop. I don't see a reason not to do it for every vehicle. It's just like a checklist item that seems like should happen. But either way, yeah, I guess you do make a good point as far as having an increased number of more ships being tested than actually launched out of Starbase. So I suppose, I mean, it's weird because when they do the static fire tests, it's only here for at most like 3 or 4 days.
But the other thing, it's a launch at pad 2 or B. It looks like they can transport the ship on the static fire stand.
All the way
So,
to the launch site.
yeah, because on the staging pad they have embeds for both the ship style or the booster style and the static fire stand.
Right. So in that regard, it is possible that the static fire stands may end up sitting at the launch site for several days leading up to the launch and waiting for the ship to come back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other idea I had was the crew that built that ship stand. I'm assuming they're still around, and they're the ones that are also repairing it. So you have them build it, and then you send it to KSC. since you're having so many people already work on a bunch of other stuff over at Roberts Road, if you've got the crew to spare, once this is repaired, build it here and then ship it. I don't know.
And the speed that everything showed up, because one of the Lower Cross members is also here, definitely seems, unlike the other one that sort of came in piecemeal, that they might be
Because
what are you referring
taking
to?
over on the other side of the GSC building, the Lower
Sorry, I'm
Cross
looking
member.
for. Can I see it in this image, or do I need another
Yeah,
angle?
it's a piece on the current stand, the lower one where the
Oh, this
SPMPs. Yeah, that's also showed up for the new stand. So
is it. Is it here in this image, or did it show up after?
it should be in that image. If you where is it? I think it's somewhere by the other side of the white tank.
The
It's
white
by
tank.
it. You can't really no on by the cell mast. So if you scroll to in, it's just peeking out between the gooseneck trailer and that mast. Right
Right here.
there. Yeah. Wasn't that exciting, but yeah.
Cool.
So everything showing up was my only point at once. So
Gotcha. Yeah, interesting to see that. I mean, they're definitely going to be ramping up on ship testing soon. I would say that they are getting fairly close to being done on this. They still have to connect the flex hoses for the ship QD. I'm sure there's other things as well down there, but yeah, and it seems like they still have a lot of the electrical stuff that they still need to do here. These seem to be junction boxes for all their controls, basically. And I don't know. I don't think this will stop them from or be like a setback at all. But I do think they'll probably continue to cover the rest of this. That's still kind of on the table whether or not they're going to put shielding around all of it, or if this is the only thing they're going to do.
if you look really closely on the Firex lines, there's lots of little tubey pipes coming off of it. That one especially, if you follow it along that rack, you can see the little J's for water sprayers.
Oh yeah, right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
It's like fire suppression. This is their fire suppression system, basically spraying all
Yeah.
over in here, which is
So-
interesting because if without it being closed in, if you have like an anomaly, like it's just going to wipe that stuff out anyways. I don't think that fire system will
why-
actually activate.
No, that's why I think it's for covers, and they might spray it down because those look like tiny little misters. But so if you cover it, it would sort of keep it cooler in there if there was
Right,
an
that makes
anomaly.
sense.
I don't know how much would come out of those tiny little outlets.
Yeah, I've thought that about a lot of the fire suppression system when I was looking into it a few months ago. I was like, this doesn't seem like it would do a lot, and more often than not, it wouldn't get the chance to do its job depending on like the event that occurs.
Yeah.
It feels like it's there, kind of like the retention pond at PEDB. It's like, hey, we have one. It's here.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
it feels like.
It's part of a checklist.
Yep.
May not do much, but it's there.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, it is also interesting. They're building another wall on this side, and I can't tell if it looks like they may build a roof over this too. But yeah, more concrete protection. I think it's 9-day difference, but I mean, there's really no way to protect everything. But still, what is protected, I think, is a vast improvement on the previous design of this farm.
Everything was exposed. Now they've got bunkers and blast walls and a trench and properly.
Yeah, these are serious walls too. Like these are like 5 feet thick, maybe, if not more.
Like, no, I don't even because even if you had a fully fueled ship over there, it's mostly just a fireball when that thing goes. Like the kind of blast, you would need like a shaped charge to get through that wall, basically. Like that's
It's a
Agreed.
yeah.
it's a lot of surface area for an overpressure wave.
Oh yeah, it'll just hit it and that's it. It won't do anything
Yeah.
to it.
Right. I mean, I don't know how many. It's like a 20 pound per square foot. It's quite a bit of initial loading.
And not even
Yeah,
like a breaching charge would even do that. Like a door, you'd have to do. You need a lot to go through that wall.
Yeah, you're not getting, more than likely you wouldn't go through it. It's just
No.
to absorb the initial shock wave and let the fireball just cruise over everything.
Yeah, on that note, it seems like the methane farm is nearing completion for the most part. I was initially looking for, there we go, another angle. It seems like they still have some things remaining here, especially with some of these skids, but they seem mostly connected. I'm not sure about this one right here, but yeah, I would say it looks like they're nearing completion on the methane farm. If right now ship 39 has been stacked, we were initially expecting to see that roll soon for cryo testing, but as of right now, they have 39.1 test article sitting on top of that stand. So that is what we are expecting to arrive next. Honestly, I think if it had not been for this incident, it would probably be there already.
Yeah, they're once the LOX tank of 18 is completely scrapped, I expect 39 to roll as soon as possible because they need to get that thing testing right away. Because if it follows at all the testing that they've done on the other two test tanks that are there, that thing could be at Massey's for 2 months. Because 18.3 has been there for 2 months and 18.1's been there for 5. So
Yeah, I mean, it's it seems like so we know that they're going to test it probably right here because that's basically the spot for that cryo test stand. They One thing that we were expecting here is to convert the QD to what they have on the static fire stand, but it seems like before they do that, they're just disconnecting it and probably going to run flex hoses directly from these lines up to the test article. And
they
then
have a system right there, that little that add-on at the bottom there.
you're talking about this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they built that within the last like 2 weeks, and then there's a part on the actual stand itself that hooks into, and that's likely how they'll load cryo into it.
Yeah. Yeah, on the stand
Yeah, coming off
itself,
here.
yeah. It's in that test, in the stand may or may not need to be reconfigured
After.
back. Yeah, because they've made some.
I mean, they welded the tank to the stand, or to at least two plates that are on the stand, so that'll have to get taken apart.
Well, they now have 4 additional actuators per center 3 to basically give them a couple more degrees of freedom for their abuse.
Yeah, I would say the interesting thing is, that they are kind of far away, I guess, from the first ship static fire. A lot further than a lot of people were expecting they are, specifically because of this cryo test that they're still waiting to do for that test article. But yeah, I imagine the ship is probably going to be ready itself to come out here long before it actually ends up out here. I wouldn't be surprised if it's ready now, honestly, with how fast they've been moving on it.
Well, when we get to Sanchez,
Well, ready as in we'll see what they learn with the test tank. If they learn something, then they have to modify it before put it out there. But
Yeah, very true.
but it might be put on the transport stand, park in the rocket garden, and start building.
So with our other test articles out here, 18.1 is still here, 18.3 still here. They did was that last week they did the cryo test on this?
6 and 7 that the bid are first part of this week, so they're up to 7 now on that.
Okay, yeah, and so we still haven't seen them install whatever they're going, whatever these support structures are for. We haven't seen any changes with that. So weird testing campaign for this so far. The cap, I don't think they've made any progress with this from last week. So they may actually be done with it.
Question is which does it go on? My guess is 39.1 because they'll want to get that one tested sooner rather than later. But
The
you know,
the top cap.
I'm just thinking they really need to do the inner stage of the booster. That's what I've kind of been expecting this to be used for. But they haven't installed actuators in here yet. Right? So
yeah, have all the
do
eyelets.
they even have them?
somewhere around here, they have the rods over there on the left side there. Those are all the rods for it. But
Yeah.
I know the actuators are sitting around here somewhere because I know we've seen them before.
Yeah, they're
And I'm not sure if this is visible on the bottom anymore. We were talking about this before the show. Okay, he did keep it. I'm looking for another image. We were debating whether or not we wanted this to be visible on the bottom, but I think it's helpful that y'all can see when I am searching for something. Yeah, let's just look down here. Oh, this might be them.
Some of them, yeah.
Maybe some of them.
yeah.
I don't know if it's just me. I think I've said this a few times already, but it really feels like Block 3 testing is either taking. I mean, it feels like it's taking forever. Compared to all the other blocks they've tested in the past, this is taking a long time to test everything. Like a while.
Yeah, in my opinion, I feel like it's because they're doing it the right way now. Like they're not. I mean, just being honest, like I've always felt like they've been skipping steps from time to time, but now it feels like they're trying to cover all bases, being slightly more careful, and than they have been in the past. And on that note, I think the one thing that we haven't really like addressed, the elephant in the room, if this was a similar failure as Ship 36, that to me is actually very interesting, and I do wonder if there's like differences between how they treat like policies or standard operating procedures for different teams, right? So like ship versus booster team, because the ship, one of the things that we have seen as far as like what their goal was to prevent this from happening was to basically improve how they're handling the COPVs. And I don't know if I have an image ready of that, but for the COPVs for the ship, they do cover them in like this. I don't know if it's like a plastic orange casing that goes around them while they're being handled. I don't know if they stay installed like that in the flight article, but we haven't seen them do that with the booster. Clearly, these are just raw, unprotected COPVs. So I think that'll be interesting if they actually end up coming to the same solution or the same conclusion with the booster as with the ship. Like, oh, we need to change the way we're handling these. That to me will be like a very interesting thing because it's like, why weren't you already doing that?
Or the ground support supply pressure isn't very stable.
Well, oh, sorry, you were saying like a ground issue?
Yeah,
ground issue?
Because if the way they're loading them, you load them too fast, they'll overheat. Depending how the pressure curves are, it could be as simple as that it's. We'll know depending what happens in 19. If they stack it very quickly, then it would definitely seem like you're saying a policy and procedure.
Yeah. And while I circle back around to that, Matt, did we
want to do some questions?
Yeah, let's see. Okay.
Yeah, I
Alex
just
is here.
want to say
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, sorry for last time. I had to deal with my puppy, and I thought I had some more time. So yeah, my bad. Very sorry about
Unacceptable.
that. So yeah,
Puppies
just
don't
want
wait.
just want to start with some donations. So from not Tom B sent 10 gifted memberships. One from Astro Joe, one from Kati Ki Mishira, and then one from That's Sharpie, one from Dan Hogbin, and one from Andy Elder. Sorry if I mispronounced any of your names. So first question we've got is: do you think they can beat their goal of stacking the Booster 19 before December, catch up with 39, or with ship 39, and will everything go okay with Booster 19?
So in my opinion, the stacking of 18 felt really slow. Like it seemed like they were like I honestly thought they weren't going to fully stack it until they finished and this kind of gets back into what I was just talking about before, like how I've in the past felt like they were skipping steps, like doing your structural qualification testing after a full vehicle is already stacked is like one of the biggest changes I've wanted to see since like day one. And they're getting closer to that, and that that's kind of what I was expecting, was that the reason that 18 took so long to stack was because they were focusing on these test articles. So I think that the actual stacking process, when they I guess maybe on 19 or 20 we'll start to see, is what we've seen on like with ship 39. Like ship 39, I think it was like 2 days or 3 days in between each stack. Each new section was stacked, and that's crazy because on the ship, not only are they doing that wow, I can't say this word, circumferential wave weld around the to join the two tanks, but they're also adding in all of the tiles, the TPS tiles, at the same time. So they're completing that weld and adding in all the tiles around the seam within 3 days. So that's pretty impressive, and I think that we should probably expect similar speed on the booster side, especially with the methane tank. And honestly, I think the LOX tank as well too. The thing that takes the longest time, if I had to guess, is obviously going to be that aft section. But I think that they probably have most of booster 19 ready, other than the aft section, if I had to guess. So I think it would probably come together extremely fast, way faster than this one did.
Yeah,
Well, that's good news.
I would think just because they made that announcement that they expect it to be ground issue, not vehicle issue.
Did they say that?
Well, the fact that they said they expect it to be stacked in December, if they thought it was a showstopper, I don't think they would have made that announcement.
True.
I'll be absolutely impressed if they're able to stack a booster that fast, because they've never ever done that before, ever.
Will you make a bet on it?
Like, because I know Zach was talking about the whole how this one felt like it was going to wait a while. If you take out that wait that they had for the aft section, it took them like 2 months to stack it and get it ready for cryo, more or less 2.5. Booster 17 took 3. So if they're able to get this stacked and cryoed in 5 weeks, okay, sure. Good luck. That's all I'm going to say. If they do it, I'll be astounded, but I highly doubt it.
Okay. Next up is from James Roberts. Do you think all 33 engines could be spun up by the booster itself and not use the OLM?
I
No.
personally think that the OLM will continue to do it. I think all signs point to that, in my opinion. Ryan Hansen Space disagrees with me on that, but I think that more than likely that's still what's happening.
I mean, there's no real reason for the booster to do it on the ground all by itself. I I mean, the booster could do a few of them, or the OLM could do a few of them, because I think on Falcon 9 they split it between the booster and the actual launch pad on which spins up which, or something along those lines. But like the outer 20 could still be spun up using the QDs, and then the rest of the COPVs are saved for the inner 13 and everything else. But
The
who knows?
the growth of COPVs kind of, I agree with Mr. Hansen on this one. And it would also give them more time to swing back the booster QDs out of harm's way.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a chance. So like when we look at I'm trying to show this on the side again. I guess the question is if they're having, because there's basically a second header tank in here. So there's the actual transfer tube and the header tank inside of that, and then there's the LOX header tank, which is much bigger than it was before. So I think the increase in size from the LOX header tank required additional COPVs, and potentially they may also need to pressurize the methane header tank with them as well too, at least during the landing burn. So they may not be using autogenous pressurization during landing, is what I'm saying. So I think that could account for the additional COPVs, and I think there's probably a large purge system going on in here. Not quite as large with the CO2 system that they had on booster, the previous version of the booster, but I do imagine there's still some purging going on inside of some of these systems. So specifically, like the housings for the TVC actuators, and possibly all of the external raceways. I any conduit, like I would purge any conduit if it was me.
That's all
So
of
I do
those
think
are
it could be. Sorry, go ahead.
all of those are necessary for the restarts, the outer raceway. That's their main gas distribution.
Right.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting. Sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good. I feel like I forgot what the actual question was.
It was based off if SpaceX can spin up all 33 Raptor engines just by the vehicle.
Oh, right. Yeah. And on that note, actually, they have added so many other hoses to both QDs. There's like way more gas lines going to these than there was before. So I personally think that like that is the reason for that is for the engine start system. Like they're basically transferring all the things that were coming through the Raptor QDs to the big QDs, and that's I think part of the reason why there's so many smaller hoses or lines coming off of the side of the QDs. So yeah, I don't know. That's my opinion that it'll still be started from ground support systems instead of the vehicle doing it itself. But I will acknowledge the possibility that it is happening from the QDs now, just because the simple fact that there are more of them. It does also make sense that that's what's happening there.
Okay. Next up from Daniel Hogbin, any damage to the cryo stand?
Yeah, I mean, the hydraulic system that we mentioned seems to be the main thing. There's like probably the COPV that went through the catwalk caused some damage, but I think it's mostly just this hydraulic system. Everything else on this side seems to be good. So the actual GSC stuff, like minimal damage to the actual test stand. Nothing that won't be fixed long before the next booster comes out.
All right. Next question from Twissy. Do you think they're going to reuse the methane tank for B19 or Booster 20 they cut from the top of Booster 18?
Doesn't kick.
Wait, say that again?
It's already
Do you
scrapped.
think they're
Yeah.
going to reuse the methane tank? Well, yeah, it's already been scrapped, but
Yeah, if it hadn't been scrapped, the only thing I would have thought is if they want to make it as part of a test interface for ship testing, but dumpster time.
Next up is from Mr. Surname. Are they ready for testing at Massey's? I think that's referring to ship.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of covered that. We mentioned that they're mostly prepared for 39.1, so not ready for an actual ship over on the cryo stand, and the static fire stand also not ready yet.
All right. From Dorin Guren, I think. Sorry. Regarding the top dome of the booster, if ice forms on the surface, is there a possibility that the burn plate will not sustain damage?
I don't think ice is enough to act as a shield against Raptor 3.
Not a chance. It would
Yeah,
more than likely
especially because
sublime away.
they may be getting away quick enough, but I still think that's going to have a lot of exposure to the Raptor engines. Next question's from Drunar. Did you find the COPV that ended up in the grass?
I didn't look for it. And honestly, which direction did it go?
I'm not
I don't think I
sure.
paid attention to like a flying COPV because I was looking for like the source, where it was actually coming from, and I never really actually looked at the projectiles flying through the air, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Do you
If you
guys
want to
know of
move
a
on.
COPV flying away? I don't
I didn't really
remember seeing
look.
it.
Yeah. I just looked at all the debris.
Yeah, I mean there could be one in here. There is some debris in there for sure.
Okay, next up is from Wrangler. Do you think they're actually testing COPVs since last time they had issues on one of them? Seems like they're missing something oh, what? Yeah, I think the question is just, do you think they're actually testing COPVs?
Yeah, I mean, yes. Like I feel like the manufacturer probably tests them before they're delivered. Honestly, I thought they were doing some sort of pressure test in the high bay or the mega bay, but honestly, like that's probably not a good idea. Like seeing what happens with this, like doing a real full pressure test inside of there, probably not a good idea. I think we should also note that it's not necessarily guaranteed that the COPV failed. Like there could be other things, you know, besides the actual COPV itself. You have all this pipework in here for the filling and discharging of those COPVs and all the controls and whatnot. So it could not necessarily be the COPV itself. It could be other hardware in here. So I think it's probably best not to fully jump to that conclusion that they have a COPV problem still, even if signs seem to point to that.
Excellent. Another question from Sad Usmani. Serious question. Why can't COPVs be used as FDS?
What, you're referring to the cold gas FTS that they now have on Booster 18? It's a joke, anyways.
I don't know. I mean, it's just not what they're for, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose they could. They definitely destroy the vehicle. But yeah, that's just not what they're for.
C4 works better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and finally for B18 from Schizo Quark, what are all the various functions for which the COPVs are needed?
Go.
Everything related to engine startup. So the actual spin start, purging of the like nitrogen purging, the actual engine plumbing after shutdown, igniters, possible tank pressurization for the header tank. What else?
Potentially Now they're doing helium bubbling once it leaves the pad. We touched thrusters, coal gas thrusters.
Um, I, unless they moved away from using the tank pressurization for RCS, uh, I suppose it's possible, but as far as we know, I mean, I don't see why that would be necessary. But it is possible.
Okay, and the queue for Massey's is done.
Awesome. Okay, so what else do we have at Massey's?
Sorry to butt in, Zach, but we do have a $10 super chat from Felix, and it is a question. He asks, based solely on what you see here, do you think SpaceX knows exactly what went wrong, which is why they are saying they will have another booster stacked so soon?
Yeah, I think they knew immediately. Like I said, I think this little thing down here is I think these are microphones. That's what they look like to me. And they have cameras, engineering cameras all over this thing. So not only do they have audio clues, but they also have a lot more footage than what we've seen. There's cameras literally all over Massey's. Like for example, they're where were they all? They put them all on the bunkers, like the control bunkers. Let's see if I can find one. Like right here. So the control bunkers for the like each part of the tank farm. So there's one for the LOX farm. There's one for the nitrogen farm. Okay, it's behind this. I'm gonna find it.
Mhm.
There we go. Yeah, the bunker right here for the nitrogen farm. So every single one of these buildings has its own camera system, and then I think there's one for the cryo test stands too. There's like several of them for those test stands. So like they know, and I think being even just with having been on site to actually look at it up close, they probably have a good idea already. And in general, there's tons of sensors on the vehicle, so I'm sure they probably have already looked through that data and probably identified what it was. I can't find the other cameras. Cool. And yeah, on that note, if you guys have not done so already, I know I always forget to do this until the end of the show, but with there being just over 1,200 of y'all in here, if you haven't done so already, please do us a favor and hit that like button. Try not to mention it too many times during the show, but do appreciate y'all doing that for us. And if you haven't already and you would like to download these images from yourself, because like I said, this is definitely a gallery that I would like to reference again in the future myself. I know I'm going to be looking back at it multiple times, and most of you probably will want to look at things a little bit closer yourselves. If you would like to become a member of the channel or a Patreon supporter, then you'll have access to all of those. So yeah, consider joining if you haven't already. And we definitely appreciate the support of everybody who has already become a member. On that note, is there anything else at Massey's that we should mention? I feel like
Well, we do have only two more donations to do real quick. Just Martin sent in one gifted membership, and then Yazada with a $10 super chat saying thanks to Mauricio for his extraordinary cutaway view photo of the booster propellant manifold.
was there another one?
No, those were the two.
Oh, okay, I thought you said there was another one. Sorry. Cool. Yeah, did we miss anything else at Massey's?
It's hilarious. They covered that one SPMT with crane mount and didn't even bother.
Yeah, like they thought they were gonna. They brought them out here too.
That's what they rolled. The Block 3 booster lifter was on that SPMT. So I don't know.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
No,
Look at the concrete, like what the crane did to the concrete. I'm sure that's just like it's not actually cracked or anything.
probably as soon as engineers said it was safe to go by it, they're just like, go.
Yeah.
The
Like, you can
turn
see-
there is great.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That must
Super
have
heavy
sounded.
crane right there.
Yeah.
I guess the only other thing is, I mean, there's another 4 subcoolers that have shown up, 2 over by the methane side and 2 over by the lock side, which is kind of interesting. But
I think they moved those here after they removed them from the launch site a few weeks ago.
And
yeah, so
they
Yeah,
brought
they're
it.
just sitting there collecting dust for some reason. Not really sure what they're going to do with them, but they do seem to be prepared to install them somewhere because they have all of the manifolds and whatnot for them up here.
yeah,
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
seems like they may use them somewhere, although I can't for the life of me figure out where that would be.
The methane section has 2 locations, but and they brought even more of the high pressure cylinders.
Yeah, those came from the bunker at the fluids bunker at the launch site as well.
Yeah.
Cool. If we don't have anything else at Massey's, Jesus, we're already an hour and a half into the show. We will move over to Sanchez. Yeah, I was gonna check a few other locations. We might as well. The in between stuff. I don't think we really. Everybody always likes to see Rio West, so I'll show it. Not a lot to mention there. Just still building houses.
They are working
not
on
much
the
of a-
road to extend
Wait, what?
it. They're working on the road to extend it up more. If you look up.
Oh,
up.
yeah. So they have about time. I was expecting that was going to happen sooner or later. Wow. Yeah, this can actually has the potential to get pretty large. Because that's basically doubling the size of it almost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they actually
Nice.
own a bit more property than that goes past where they're working. So yeah, this could actually be a pretty big development.
I wonder if they're ever going to go this direction.
Don't know if they have access. They own a lot of land over there. I thought
Yeah, they
there was
do.
parkland in between or something.
Let's see. I don't think there was anything at the storage lots worth mentioning. Cool. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and go to Sanchez. So I did already show the Booster 17 aft section, but I will go back to that here shortly. In the meantime, we do have the new, what we suspect is the transport stand for the ship taking shape. Yeah, we kind
What
of
else could it be?
definitely touched on this last week. It's really odd. This is a really, really weird stand. I mean, mostly because of the fact that it's connected at like what 8 plus. What I
It's
think
8
there's
points. It'll be
8 plus
points.
the 6, so there's like 14 connection points. Which
think
do you guys have
lower-
any thoughts on this part right here? Because
Those are just
there's
for
almost-
building it.
Yeah, fixtures.
Yeah.
you think that's only for because with every other stand that they've built, they just use regular like pipe stands. So like I don't see why you wouldn't just have used these same pipe stands down there.
I think those pipe stands might move with it, sort of like the booster stands do, because it's
Right.
has the same spacing. It looks like as a booster stand now.
I'm
Except for
pretty
the
sure those stands that are just on the top of the image there, pretty sure those were used when they went to build all the booster stands. They were jigs to hold it up, kind of like they did. I made those assembly stands for the mount and everything. I'm pretty sure that's all they are. So
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I guess they may. I mean, this is probably the first of many that they need. If they have 3 for the booster, then they're probably going to be at least 3 for the ship, if not more, possibly. I mean, given that they may use the static fire stand for transport to the launch site as well too, the actual use for a static fire stand or a regular transport stand is limited, I would say.
I mean, storage and moving and all that other stuff. There's a lot of uses for it, especially once you have a boatload of ships.
Yeah, I wonder if this is able to, if this pattern works on the Rocket Garden stands, like
The booster side, it will.
But it won't fit on the ship, on one of the ship stands.
No, because the ship is 6 points. The old ship stands are 6 points. That new one is 8 points.
8.
So it's it mirrors exactly what the booster stands are. So they have a commonality, which means they'll probably change the Rocket Garden spots. And then if we look over at the lifting station over at Pad B, Pad 2, there's the 4 corners for the static fire stand, and then there's 8 points only. Well, the 8 points will work for the booster stands and for the new ship stands. So commonality.
That makes sense. Yeah, glad to finally see that. There's some interesting things happening with some structural steel down at Sanchez. We have these like cross beams that are right here, and I think there's a few more just out of the frame down here. So weird structures going on here. And then there's also another assembly coming down here, a truss structure down here that they've been, I think these are 2 stacked on top of each other, basically, it looks like, and some more frames down there. This is really odd. Have you guys had any thoughts on this? I've been thinking about it, and I can't really come up with anything. The steel doesn't look like the same steel they've been using on the Gigabay so far. So it seems like this might be for something else. Do you guys have any thoughts?
I don't know.
Transport to the Cape, or it looks like it's stainless as well. So it's the same sort of steel they built the OLM and gantry with. Good tower.
Right.
Who knows what it's for?
Yeah. I did think for like a split second, I was wondering if this was the ground or the potentially that bunker for the launch mount, like for Pad A.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I don't think it's formed like this.
No.
No, it's not. Yeah. They would probably erect that steel on site once they have the opportunity to do it, but we're a long, long way from that. So
maybe. I mean, it's possible to, if you have a big enough crane over there, to, if you wanted to do all this assembly ahead of time, if they wanted to basically build out each level here and then use a crane to lift them on top of each other at the launch site, like it is possible to do some of that prefab if you build out each level separately at like there is some components that go through each section, but I feel like they could also install at least some of the mechanical panels and whatnot, and manifolds and stuff inside of it if they really wanted to. But I just don't think that's what this is. But I wouldn't eliminate that as a possibility. Yeah, these ones are interesting. I feel like these could be related possibly to Gigabay. It is weird that they would be constructed here. And also, the only thing I can come up with is that these could be braces in between the doorways. We have seen braces in between the doorways for the Roberts Road facility, but they don't look like this. They're basically T's instead of X's. But I guess we'll touch on that again when we get to Gigabay here shortly. Yeah, interesting. I always like when random stuff like this shows up because, always nice to have a good mystery. What else do we have at Sanchez before I get over
HQD
to
arm extension?
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm going
Yeah, so they've been building that out down here.
Yep.
moving pretty quickly on that. It seems like they've already got some pipes and conduit up against one side of the walkway.
We got some junction
Where did this
boxes
thing come
too.
from? That's what I want to know. Like, how did it appear out of nowhere?
I don't know,
GSC
but
building,
possibly.
the ground fab.
Yeah.
Because they had a bunch of those square tubes that slowly disappeared, and structural stainless or gray steel is coming in and out of the
Right.
ground fab building as well. My crazy theory is that's been before dance floor. Pad B, but I hope I'm wrong.
Did you say a dance floor for Pad B? Are you talking about
Yep.
this?
Yep.
How would that work?
Don't, I'll have to sketch something up offline.
I was gonna say because I'm trying to think of how it would work in my head.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm. I mean, that would be a very large dance floor.
that's that's pretty big.
Vertical support because it has to span from one of the exits of the flame trench.
Wow, that would be crazy.
We'll see. No, I said crazy ass ideas, so
Yeah, wow. I'm like imagining that right now. Like,
Where would you store that?
no.
For
Anyways,
lore?
I'll let you draw that up. That's a
Yeah.
rabbit hole for sure. Let's see. Yeah, so they're making good progress on that, and they did move. Sorry, I keep trying to like find the image, like a closer image of that QD arm. This
There's
might
one
be a
from the
good
other
one.
side. I know that.
Yeah, they have moved the larger part of the main part of the QD arm this week, and as of yesterday, they mounted it onto the tower. Mauricio did happen to catch them as they were rotating it, so we'll see that when we get to the launch site. But yeah, good progress on this, and glad they're finally starting this section because we've been waiting for a long time for them to finish that arm. Let's see what else at Sanchez.
6846. Oh wait, yeah, it is be a good one for the QD arm extension.
Yeah, it's got a lot of pipes down there, control boxes. I think this thing's probably going to go together pretty quickly.
There's those accumulators on the wall by the ladder.
Kind of looks like it a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe need a ground image when it rolls out to actually be able to determine that.
It's crazy how both this and the QD arm, it's the work platform they have all the way through them.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's clean compared to the one that's at Pad 1. Man.
Oh god, that looks so rural as Steph would say. Yeah.
So we did also cover B-17 a while ago at the start of the show, but another view of it here as after they've scrapped it from the. This is a pretty clean cut.
They're practicing.
Separating that from the rest of the LOX tank.
What's hilarious is they have those jackets on these on the Dexter LOX tanks, I think.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, they're so this is like the same. It's like a white version of the one they have on the orange one on the ship.
Right.
And these aren't even COPVs. That's the interesting part. But yeah, interesting that they don't have that protection on the ones on the booster.
Probably yet. If I had.
Sorry, V3 booster.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what. If not for Booster 13, I would have been really excited to see this because there's lots of details in here that we weren't sure of. But now that we had Booster 13, we already knew most of the stuff. But still pretty cool to see the old design versus what we see now on the V3 booster. You know, this just seems so much simpler. I remember I thought that I really hated these landing tank extensions, but it's not so bad looking at the craziness of the V3 booster.
That booster looks better on the inside.
Yeah, this looks like it would be the version 3. The other one's just crazy spaghetti factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping it grows on me. Like I think that when it's done being modeled out and have a better understanding of why certain decisions were made, I'll kind of like appreciate it more. But for the moment, yeah, it does seem like a huge like jumble of spaghetti. So yeah, this does seem a little bit cleaner, navigatable. Like you can get in there and walk around. You know what I mean? Like you're not stepping on something every step.
Because
Yeah.
they basically went backwards. It feels like in booster design, because they went back to Booster 5 and back to Falcon 9 with the landing tank on the side, rather than integrated through the transfer tube like this is kind of in the center. Because this looked clean, integrated, right there in the center, nothing off to the side, and then they put that side tank in 18 on Block 3. It just looks wrong.
It's
It's
you
not
have the
clean.
weight on that side to help it on the glide back in. And like I said, you're raising the center of gravity up, which is having it too low to center pressure. It leads to instability.
Yeah, there's lots of, I'm sure, lots of thought behind it. Let's see, is there anything else at Sanchez that I haven't? I don't think so. I think I've got
You want
everything.
you want to look at that one thing you sent to me, Alex, or not?
Oh, if you zoom in right to that lower left corner is the ground fab building. Right. Those two on the pipe stand, those
These?
two mystery. Yeah, they're
Weird.
kind of yeah. They have 3
Yeah, these look like
islands.
these look similar to the. They're definitely not what this is, but they look similar to the load pins on the version 1 booster or the version 2 booster.
I wish
But yeah, that's interesting. Do you have thoughts on what this is?
The only thing that came to mind, which I hope is wrong, is part of the ship carriage for the QD, but I don't see how they'd mount on one end.
Ship carriage for the QD.
On the arm extension for swinging the QD to the vehicle. Yeah,
extending
but
it. Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't think they look more like they're going to be for one of the test stands.
Yeah.
Just how.
One thing I guess we didn't mention was that the work platform for the Stagfire stand seems to be mostly complete now. Okay. Do you have any questions at Sanchez before I go over to Gigabay?
Not that many. We've got 2 donations from Mr. Surname, for $2 each, and we got a question from Sad Usman. When do you expect Ship 40 parts to roll out? After 39 cryo?
I think it'll be after 39.1 leaves that bay. I think they'll want to stack it right away, or at least start.
I mean, the ship stacking happens so quickly. I don't know if it's necessary to start it right away, especially now with a little bit of delay between flights 12 and 13, I guess. They need 2 boosters really fast, and they only need 1 more ship right now. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on if they are still outfitting one of the workstations in there. Like they may want to reduce how much work is happening in there so they can finish up some of the structural work that they've been doing for those workstations. Because they do have these, where are they? Let's see. These stands, the platforms, which BJ was saying these are for Megabay 2, not Megabay 1. So I imagine that they want to get all this stuff installed in there at some point. And I feel like now would be a good time to do that. Cool. Next question.
That's it.
Cool. Alrighty then. Well, let's check out the Gigabay because, wow. Finally able to see most of that first level as far as the superstructure seems to be mostly completed. And I think at this point, I haven't looked over at the streams today, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're getting close to starting the next level of this. I'm trying to find a view looking straight on.
Because all the first level columns are in the floor ones, at least that attach to the floor. So they should be starting the second one sooner or later.
Yeah, it's actually surprising that they basically all caught up to each other. Because with the way that the cranes were installed, like I expected that this first tower crane would be way ahead of the others. But it seems actually to have fallen behind. Because it still they hadn't finished this workstation yet, the end wall, basically. And they had already done all 3 workstations or 6 workstations for this crane. But yeah, I mean, unless they're planning to install all of because I think right now they've finally reached a stage where they have multiple different things happening at the same time. So, you have column installation, you have people going around installing bolts, you have people installing the floor panels. And so I think they especially the guys doing the floor panels, they kind of seem to be only one crew and they do one full side, then move over and start doing another side. I think they've finished up over here and moved over here. So yeah, you got multiple different crews doing different operations. And yeah, as far as I can tell, it looks like, I think you were right that they did get the last of the columns up by this point. I think there was just 2 more down here, which are up now. So we'll probably see them start that next level tomorrow, if I had to guess. Today's Sunday, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those cross beams that I mentioned, the little X's that we were seeing, what I was thinking was that they may go back here. So the only part of this is like a weird part of the building because these walls don't touch each other, whereas these are structurally connected with the walkway in the middle. So I think they may need some support going across this direction because as you build this up higher, eventually they will connect to each other. We're expecting there'll be a doorway, probably about the height of the top of the Star Factory. So the next level will be the last level where this is just an open doorway, more than likely. But in the meantime, they would probably need to add crossbeams until they get to at least the 3rd level, and they actually connect the back walls to each other. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, and that's I imagine they want to make sure it's braced as soon as possible because once you get to that next level, there's nothing to stop these from kind of wiggling back and forth.
Yeah, if you look at Roberts Road, you basically from the ground you go up 5 floors, and then there's a crossbeam that goes across, and then that's where the openings are on that side. So
and Roberts Road, they have a faux column in the center, as well as the braces, both on the wall and horizontal as well between. So yeah, that's probably where those X's are going to go.
Yeah, I was just looking for some just from Roberts Road, but I'll have to do that later. Yeah, really cool though. I mean, one question that I've had, I don't know if you guys have an answer to this. Why are they? So one of the weird things about this is that they're using the steel panels for the floors on the intermediate levels, but then doing corrugated panels, which will have concrete on them for the main levels. Why not just do steel panels on each level?
The poured ones are permanent structural, and the flat ones are probably readily movable like not temporary, but non-structural members.
I feel like they could contribute to the.
Yeah, they could, but my assumption is that they're more for future reconfigurations and that sort of stuff. But that's
Yeah.
just my half-baked theory.
Yeah, another interesting detail is that the little intermediate levels, they don't have them on the ends, which is really weird. So only the middle partition walls have those intermediate levels. This building is going to be insane. I mean, just the fact that having 8 elevators in here, you can see the basically the elevator cores right here. Like the 4 of them on each side is pretty amazing. I feel like the ones on this side are kind of useless though. I imagine these will be primarily going up to the top floor.
And then it looks like on some of the first level, there's pass-throughs on some of them to the ground.
Pass-throughs. Oh, you're talking about, yeah. That's interesting as well, because I was wondering if they would have stairs on these. I'm assuming this may have something to do with stairs.
Yeah. And
But why doesn't it go up to the next level?
They might not have cut the decking yet.
With these ones, they didn't have to cut the decking. They framed that opening.
Yeah, and the middle ones.
Access to the first level.
And yeah, the middle ones, they definitely don't, because the steel floor decks. The way they're.
Wait, what do you mean? You're talking about these?
Yeah, there's no way that they could have stairs going through there the way the intermediate levels are.
Right. Yeah, I figured they may have stairs going on the outside, like in the aisle, in the transfer aisle. But with these ones, the elevators, you can actually access these levels, and then I imagine there may be a staircase behind here, so you can access the sub-levels as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty insane structure. And honestly, seeing it from the air doesn't really do it justice. Like the ground images really puts into perspective just how insanely large this is. But yeah, it's extremely impressive. I'm really excited for it. And it's going to go not exactly as fast as people are thinking. I want to say I feel like it'll probably be more than like 9 months at least until they finish. But I think we can almost predict that at this point, now that we've seen how long it took them to get to this point. I'm sure BJ has some predictions on when they might be, how long it will take them to do each level. But I'd say they're catching up to Roberts Road already. I would say I think they are caught up almost.
No, Roberts Road is at its 3rd level on one side.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like this being on its 2nd level, because Roberts Road only has half the building, half the first 2 aisles completed, right? So like technically,
they've started on the other one. So, but
like if they started on the 2nd level here today, then that's the same as being on the 3rd level at Roberts Road, essentially. So I feel like they have caught up to them almost.
Yeah, and the floor level should be the slowest till they get to the roof.
Right. Yeah, so in the Mega Bay 2, we have 39.1, which, like I said, probably would have moved out already if not for the incident with Booster 18. So we will see this move out soon. They basically welded it down onto the cryo stand. So it's kind of permanently attached until they grind all those welds off and remove it. So we will see this move to Massey's at some point, I imagine this week, once they get all of Booster 18 scrap out of the way, I would say. Mega Bay 1, you can see the remains of Booster 17's LOX tank and Common Dome up here. So they made quick work out of that. Actually, that was like one thing we didn't really touch on in Sanchez was the other parts of Booster 17, which are forward dome, and then you have tank sections down here being scrapped. So yeah, they're making quick work of that.
Are those the nose cone lifters that they were just building at the scrapyard?
Yes.
Weird.
Wait, I think I don't know if they changed something from this design. I don't know if that's yeah, I'm not sure if this is the same as the new ones. It might be.
I didn't think I saw them over there, but
No.
weird.
Yeah. Cool. Back to this. I don't know if there's anything else really to discuss in the mega bays.
Not really. There's nothing else in there. They don't.
Yeah.
They have one fully stacked booster and 2 fully stacked ships. That's all they've got right now.
Are you referring to the Rocket Garden?
Yeah, they have booster 12, ship 20, and ship 39, and that's all they've got.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you said 2 stack boosters. I'm like, wait, what?
I thought I said two. Oh, well,
You probably did. I probably misheard you.
Who knows?
Slightly confusing. Yeah, another thing we saw was some deliveries of Raptors this week on some of the, I think both Rovercam and NASA Spaceflight's cameras saw it come in. So we do know they've been delivering Raptor 3s here. Probably were thinking that they would be begin installing them within the next week on Booster 18, but that will not be happening. So yeah, I do think that we will start to see, I hope, components of Booster 19 start moving out in the coming days. I would have to imagine that some of them are ready to go, especially with the liquid oxygen tank. Okay, let's see.
Let's see the one guy that's on at Gigabay.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I think he's just on a work break right there, taking a nap. He's probably waiting for somebody to bring him some hardware.
Yep.
But that is a convenient place to take a nap.
I will not blame him.
I love steel workers.
Or if it's lunchtime, he's waiting for some software.
That's true. Let's see. I don't know if there's really anything new down here going on in this little storage lot. It looks like they're installing maybe another bridge crane in there.
Maybe.
Is that a bridge crane rail?
I think so.
Pretty sure it is.
And yeah,
they've been cleaning up stuff. That's what they've been doing.
Yeah, well, a lot of these are just like pedestal cranes that they've been waiting to install in there, which is surprising that it's taking that long. But yeah, still outfitting the Star Factory. At the parking garage / apartment building, getting good progress on the glass installation. I don't know if there's really anything else for us to discuss on this one.
All internal now. It's just going to take time.
Yeah. Let's see. Nothing else in the village either. I don't really think there's anything to mention in there this week. So, with that said, we will probably go to the launch site unless we had any build site questions.
Yes, we do. So one of the questions is from Schizoquark. Will the main structure of the Gigabay possibly be built without much need for scaffolding?
I mean, they have scaffolding. So eventually, yeah, I mean, they're building staircases. I think they have, on this side, I think they have they have ladders on each one. And then in these rows, I think there's only one staircase I think there's just 2, this one and that one, I think. But I imagine we will see it going further up. Eventually, they'll at least install like the work elevators, the temporary elevators in here, I imagine. Maybe they'll even be on the external part of the building, but Yeah, I don't know if they'll need scaffolding all the way up, but I do imagine the level that they're currently working on, that will always have scaffolding on it, if I had to guess.
All
Or
right, and I want to say thanks to Mr. Surname for $2 super chat saying, for aviation fuel, where will we be in 5 years? I think that might have been a question or a statement.
Well, I think
Where-
you said the donation was for aviation fuel.
Yeah.
Oh, oh.
Gotcha. Cool. Thank you so much for your support. We greatly appreciate it. Yeah, I think sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we just got a couple more questions that have come through.
Cool.
Some more came in for Sanchez. So I'll start with the build site though. So from Stephen Gaming, in what time frame can Booster 19 get stacked and ready for testing?
That's up
Ryan?
to SpaceX with how quick they do it. The quickest they've ever, like, if you want to go by actual timelines, not trying to calculate for weights of parts, the quickest they've ever done it is 17, where they, from the start of stacking to when it rolled out for cryo, was 3 months. So we'll see. It's entirely up to SpaceX with how quickly they can stack. Because if they wanted to build both tanks at the same time, they'd have to use Mega Bay 1 and 2. Because as far as I know, they do not have a robot welder on the other turntable in order to use. So the left turntable in Mega Bay 1. So they would have to use 2 Mega Bays to build both tanks at the same time. Which, if they really wanted to put a booster together really quick, they could in theory do that. But we'll see.
All right. Next up, we got one from, I believe, Kai Nessel. Are there gusset on the petitions where the temporary X frames would connect? I think referring to the Mega Bay.
I don't think we can necessarily see, like, they could be right here. I'm not sure. It's difficult to see from the air on those. I don't think these are.
they're for the floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think
Next
they're
up,
there.
sorry, I was just saying. Next up from Rick Morty, isn't the side tank temporary just until Mega Bay is done?
I don't think so.
No, the original theory, which is no longer a theory anymore because it was utterly wrong, and yep, I'll eat crow on that one. It's the landing tank for Block 3/4, and it'll likely stay as part of the booster forever, unless they come up with a different way to make a landing tank. That's staying there,
Going back to their roots.
right? It's
Yeah,
Falcon 9 again.
I never really bought the idea that it was temporary. I think it would be easier to have. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. There was a whole thought process behind
Yeah.
why it would have been temporary, but yeah, that never really made sense to me. But yeah, I think it's also. I agree that it's probably permanent.
Okay. We got one from Sadhu Smani. Again, sorry if I'm mispronouncing any names. Do new booster transport stands have more access to the engines than Block 2 stands?
Um,
It's the same
Purely
stand.
for the reason that the boosters don't have shielding. Yes, but the actual stand itself is the same. The only thing that's changed is the clamps. So same amount of access, but when we look through these holes in the side, you'll actually be able to see the power heads themselves, and instead of looking at the shielding. So yeah, it's really the only change.
Okay. And we got a question from Crane Man. Since the SQD arm extension was first spotted on the SPMT, could it be possible that the extension was fabricated oh no, we've already answered this one. Yeah, inside the GSE building. Sorry about that. We've got a question from official Waspman. With all that tubing for the engines, don't you think they could make a quick attachment systems so it's easier to manufacture them for quick assembly times? I believe they're talking about Booster 18's internals on that one.
Can you repeat the question?
They said, with all the tubing for the engines, do you think they could make a quick attachment systems so it's easy to manufacture for quick assembly times?
I think most of it
Um,
built in the factory already,
Yeah, that's all got to
but
be welded together and everything.
yeah,
that's
Yeah,
just crazy.
there's no quick
yeah, no,
attachment for that. That takes a lot of time to build those things.
yeah.
And
That's what
whilst
we're
we're here, we've got another question saying, what are the round orange things on the integrated hot staging ring perimeter?
Um, are they talking about these?
I
Oh,
think they're
these?
either talking about those or I think it might be them.
Yeah. I think our best thought is that these might be the um, like for comms between the booster and the ship. So like these are like connector. These are comms connectors. I'm not sure how those would work, honestly. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I think that's what they're for. The comms connecting the two vehicles. Yeah.
Yeah, they could be for that. Yeah, we'd have to see the underside of a Block 3 ship to know for sure.
And those without their covers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you think there's something beneath these?
Yeah.
That would make sense. Cool. Anything else?
Yeah, we got one from Peter Krein. Don't you think the hinge mechanism could help them retract the QD arm using gravity plus pistons faster? I'm a little bit confused on that one. There was some stuff inside of parentheses, but I'm not entirely sure. They said the full question is, don't you think the hinge mechanism cut under 45 degrees for keeping doors open / closed on the WC cubicles could help them to retract the QD arm using gravity and pistons faster? Not entirely sure what the inner bit means.
Like a
I'm not.
ship
I don't
QD
fully
arm?
understand the question.
Yeah, it's something to do with the ship QD arm, and they mentioned something called WC cubicles.
Like, are you saying to mount the ship QD arm at 45-degree angle to use also an actuator? The problem is you can't use gravity plus an actuator. The actuator would prevent you from using gravity and vice versa, really. I mean, unless you remove all pressure from the actuator, then it would fall gravity. But the actuator acts like a brake, especially if there's pressure on it. So they wouldn't really help one another. And I don't even know how you would even attach that to the tower, for that matter.
Right.
Yeah. And finally, from Chang58, is it possible the X-frames are fitted to the next level, leaving the lower level open for access?
Yeah, definitely. They may not be installed to the next level. I mean, I would expect them to be installed before that, but I mean, it's certainly possible that they get installed to the next level.
And that is the Q cleared.
Cool. Alrighty then. Well, let's move over to the launch site, and I think I will start at the ASU. Not a lot to talk about here, but they have finished up the CFA pile. CFA rig has left. I think this is it right here. So they
Finally.
broke that down. Yeah, they finished drilling all the piles. You can see that they've done some in here. I think there's at least 2 rows of them in here. Yeah, starting to form the base of whatever's going here. And there's all the piles that are down in this area as well too. So making good progress on that. I don't know if anybody had something they wanted to add for this.
Yeah, just the compressors or stages are probably going to be on that pad that we're working on now.
This one, yeah, and they
Yeah.
do have those are sitting at the port currently. I don't think I have images of that loaded. Let's see. I don't think I have the port currently. Actually, I think I do. Let's see. Yep. Yeah, so all of that stuff is still staged at the Port Connector Road. I don't think we've seen anything else arrive. This is still same stuff from last week, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Making progress on that. I guess we'll skip anything else on ASU and get over to Pad A, where
Bye.
we have no more launch mount. It's completely gone. Final leg was dropped this week. That was pretty entertaining to watch them drop all of these. They basically had to like cut, open up the steel casing around the legs so that they could access the concrete in the middle, and then they basically used a jackhammer to break that out until they fell over. It's really funny just the way they did that, having them fall across perfectly onto their opposite member, and once they hit the stump of the leg or the completed leg or the still standing leg, it would break into smaller pieces. So they broke those into smaller pieces and seem to have broken out. I think they like cut them in half and then broke out the concrete on most of them.
Yeah, because you can see there's a bunch of them. You have to get more.
Yeah, right over
there's
here.
a bunch of it right there. Yeah, all the rebar, all the steel, and then the concrete is separated.
Yeah, it is so crazy just seeing that launch mount reduced to scraps like this. It's just all put into trash trailers and then sent over to the scrapyard. Now that they've gotten this out, they still need to. Oh, they got quite a bit left to do. So they have
That was the easy part.
Yeah, that was the easy part. They got to get. They're gonna have to break out the concrete down here all the way to the tower, basically, and then there's another set of cryo lines that go, I think, across like this. So they'll have to break those out. They need to. I don't know if they'll try and get these stumps down any more than they will currently, but I think they'll remove all of this dirt and then start working on the actual deluge plate. So that's going to be interesting, cutting that apart and lifting all of that out of there. And then they have a massive amount of work to do, breaking out. I think it's like, I want to say 15 feet of concrete, if not more.
4 meters or something like that?
Yeah, I had this number in my head. I looked it up the other day.
Pretty sure it was like 4 meters, and then of course the steel plate added a little bit to it. And then so they got to remove the steel plate plus the entire foundation, dig out the legs. If they're going to dig out the legs all the way to the bottom of the legs, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I imagine that. I mean, I don't know how much more they need to do on these before they remove the rest, but I mean, imagine it might be a little bit difficult. Actually, they probably can just cut these in half and then break out the rest of the concrete on them. So yeah, maybe they'll finish getting rid of the stumps first. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. They have to remove all of that piping, the 2 water pipes that go underground over here. A lot of ground stuff that they need to remove. I think they've started down here, like stripping down to where some of the electrical stuff goes. Actually, was that for water?
Looks like they're adding electrical.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, it does look like they're adding.
If you go all the way over to the right, I think it's still on the same picture here. You can see where they're adding more electrical in, and it's like, you're doing that now? Like now? Like
construction trailers.
It's like
I feel like some of this was probably here before. I'm pretty sure this is old. Because there's a few junction boxes that are right down here. There's like 3 of them, big junction boxes. So I think they're removing conduit.
Yeah, that conduit looks like it's embedded.
They got a new road though.
A nice road.
Yeah. Through the old Locks farm and the fluids bunker that's just gone.
Yeah, on that note, before I start to talk about the tank farm, we did see some finally progress with shortening the chopsticks. As y'all can see, they First thing they did was remove the landing rail earlier this week, and then immediately after that, they had connected a crane to the end of the arm and cut it free. I think in this image, the landing rail is it still there? The other
One is there, one is cut, if I remember correctly. No, both landing rails are gone. They removed that one like 20th. They moved it a couple of days ago.
Isn't it on the ground?
It's
By
on
the
the
berm?
ground. Yeah, by the wall.
Yeah,
Um,
by the old methane fill ports.
Yeah, there you go. There's the landing rail right there.
right here.
And then the other one is up because you can see the bumpers.
Yeah. What's left of the
Yeah.
Arm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool that they're able to just do this in place like here, and then they didn't have to actually end up removing it. But yeah, we'll see this one probably removed sometime this week. By the time of the next show, I imagine this will be gone as well too. So yeah, good progress on that. I think they'll. I wonder if they'll just reinstall these after modifying them, or like build a completely new landing rail.
Yeah, we'll see. I think there's going to be a lot of things on those because all of those stabs are a little bit different from what's on pad 2, so they might take those off and redo them or build new ones to stick on. And then I would assume they're going to tear all that old hydraulic pipes off and redo them because they're just gnarly and might as well. You got time.
Strip everything back.
Yeah, strip it all back and redo it. That's what I
Yeah.
say.
And yeah, they started ripping off pipes from the weirs.
Oh. Yeah, sorry, I was like looking at these guys up here, trying to see what they're doing. Just
From what the
maintenance on the landing on the rails for the carriage.
yeah, it looks like they're welding some around the seams on some of the ground photos, but
I think they're
I feel
doing
like they
some
need to
repair.
replace them.
Yeah, I would say replace them all, and then like
Or
replace
at
the
least the
skates and
skates.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. They took
And you,
off
sorry, you were
the,
saying on this side they have. Oh man, I thought I had a view where I could see it properly. Maybe a front side view, we can see it.
yeah, down at by the crane, they've started disconnecting the
Some of the smaller lines.
yeah, and by the thrust block, you can see some of the lines just hanging, or where the thrust blocks used to be.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I expect this will probably be gone soon. I don't think they've.
not yet.
Well, I think some of the control panels for that CO2 tank are probably down here.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of this will go pretty much. Yeah, I guess moving over to the tank farm, unless I missed anything else on pad A. Tank farm stuff is coming along really well. Also, I think most of the stuff that they are going to remove is gone, other than these two tanks right here. I mean, they still will probably remove all the pedestals right here, and also there's a lot of underground cryotubing that I think will come out. It's like surrounding. It's down here in this. Actually, I think it's right here is the little trench for that, which goes. I can't remember if it still goes around the front. I think this is it right here.
It is, but I'm not sure if they filled it back in.
Yeah, I can't remember if they removed that stuff or not. But yeah, the big question I have is whether or not they'll end up moving this. They did bring in that new tank a few weeks ago, but to me, this shouldn't be here. So I don't know. I have a feeling that they'll end up moving it.
My thought was at some point all those smaller methane tanks go, and then that entire package gets moved to that point, and then they kind of cut down all the lines that they have going all the way to where the lock side used to be. They kind of get rid of a lot of them, but they keep the refill stuff.
I
suppose that was something.
I think a lot of the refills are going to go away. I'm suspicious whether the ASU will be up before the first flight.
Oof, no way. Well, I mean, the ASU for in Brownsville has been going way faster than the process for this one. But on that note, they may have actually started that one way earlier than we realized, and so we didn't. But I mean, they put it together extremely fast. I mean, they're still working on it now, but they're just moving so quickly on it. It's insane. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like they'll still keep fill points at some, even with the ASU, just in case they need additional deliveries. And also, they will if they're supporting this using the ASU in Brownsville as well, then they still need to be able to offload from transfer between those two facilities. So I think they will have to keep these offload points for that purpose.
There's a bunch of cryo pipes that showed up that are the same size of their fill lines is the only reason I'm suspicious.
Oh, in Matt and Sanchez?
Yeah, they're actually down by the deluge stuff. Thought that's where they were.
Here?
Yeah, by the new deluge stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll check those out in a second. Yeah, so there was, I think last week they still had the 2 vertical water tanks and then 3 horizontal tanks. So those are gone. I think they'll probably end up removing just these pedestals here. And like I said, all of the cryo tubing. And then the last thing that we were expecting to be on the bunker is these water heaters that are on the other side. These are like water heaters down here.
Yeah.
So expecting those to move. And other than that, I mean, it's just crazy how fast they stripped all that stuff out. I have a feeling once this is gone, I wonder if they'll extend this wall or if they'll just remove all of this. Hopefully we'll start to get an idea of what they're going to do with the methane tanks rather soon.
I know the wall and the plans, I think, definitely where the 2 short tanks it runs.
On the plans, the wall ran all the way over to here, and then I think the roundabout. I thought the roundabout was supposed to.
Yeah, they have so the roundabout becomes a 4-point roundabout basically, and
Yeah, I
then
don't.
that road runs all the way around the launch site, and also connects into a service road that basically connects to just in front of where the trench would start at pad 1 once they make it. At least that was the original plans.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
supposed to come around this way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The service
Yeah.
road would continue.
Yeah, all around around the entire site.
Yeah, because the methane storage is supposed to move to the very bottom, to that sort of island thing.
Yeah, during the construction for this, they're gonna need this. I imagine. I feel like this little step that's right here, they'll probably just grade this all the way down, so this whole thing is a ramp for access down here. That way, nothing has to come in through this side related to construction for this. So
they're going to need a bigger construction area.
Which is why it would be cool if they. Which is why I think they should basically take out those small methane tanks, the small horizontal ones, move the big ones over there, and then you basically just destroy the Lego pad and
Oh yeah,
make that a whole construction zone. That would
Yeah.
probably be the easiest way to do it, but that's a lot to do. And then if you do that, you also lose any ability to launch because you don't have enough methane to launch.
I think
Yeah.
they'd remove the little ones, bring in new tanks, and then remove the big fat ones.
And send them somewhere else. Yep.
Yep.
Agreed. Let's see. I think we could probably move over to pad B.
Do we want to take some pad A questions? We've got a couple with the breakup. So first one is why did they try to protect Deluge Planet from Sod Usmani?
wasn't really about protecting the deluge plate. It was more about the fact they were dropping a bunch of steel down and they used dirt to deaden the drop. I don't think they really cared that much about the plate, but steel hitting steel from like 10, 15 meters up is not really great. So,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, they were kind of already doing that with because they were letting it collide with the adjacent legs. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it'll probably be easier to remove without huge dents in it.
That too.
Yeah.
And safety.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. And next up from Tony P123, are the chopstick mods as simple as chopping half of it off, or is more work needed to be done?
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to add all the hardware that they removed back in. I mean, they'll probably strip everything that's there down and just make it the same as the other one. So, um, yeah, I would say there's quite a bit to do because of all the stuff that they removed. Um,
Those sticks
if you-
probably won't be operational again for a while. Because not only
yeah,
that, they have to rebuild the entire backside of the tower that they removed. So there's no drawworks or anything. So
yeah, the modifications to this will be interesting.
I'm still not
And
sure that they're not going to lift off the carriage and chopsticks. Anyway, make Brian happy.
I wouldn't mind
we've
that. And then
we've
scrap
got
the entire thing and then just redo them. Okay. We still need them to knock down the tower, Alex. So yeah.
Oh yeah,
They actually, now that I think about it, have to redo the hydraulic system on this because this one has two um, accumulators slash gas cylinders on this side, and so they need to remove one of them because the other tower only has one. So I think they'll have to redo the hydraulic system on this as well too. Um, so yeah, quite a lot to do. Cool. Next
Maybe
question.
even change the
we do
traveling block.
the next three questions we have are booster related. If we want to do them next.
Sorry, can you say that one more time? I was I was looking at
The
this other question in the chat.
the next three questions are booster related. If we want to go for them.
Yeah, sure. Before I move away from here, somebody did ask what the flash was during the leg drop over by the tower. Yeah, when I think it was this leg, no, this one when it fell, one of the pieces like rolled over and hit something, and there was like a big like flash, and everybody went running over there. No idea what it was. I honestly thought it was this trailer. I thought something landed on this trailer and it caught on fire or something like that. But there was a few generators over here, so it could have been one of those. But I don't. I looked for some damaged equipment over there, and I didn't find anything. So no idea. But yeah, booster questions.
So yeah, the first one is from Carty Key. I feel the pattern of the gimbal plates on the hot staging ring show a possible direction the booster would flip at the time of hot staging.
correct.
Yeah. Correct.
And next is everyone 100% from Missing Tools? Is everyone 100% confident version 3/Raptor 3 vehicles will not need engine shielding?
Well, okay, so they're not going to have the same engine shielding as Block 2, but they're still going to have shielding around the TVC mounts and around their valves. But other than that, they shouldn't need anything else.
Yep. And finally, there's a question about whether or not it was the autogen pipes which caused the explosion on booster 18 from Carty Key. Sorry, I'm just finding it now.
I can say it was a CUPV that exploded, or a few. It wasn't the autogen pipe. You can see where the autogen was and where it's split, and you can clearly see the tear opened literally right where that chine was, one of the large chines. a couple of COPVs exploded and ripped the whole thing to pieces. Don't know why they went off, but they did.
Okay, and finally, final question for Pad 1 is, will they repaint the chopsticks on Pad 1?
I'm sure they will.
At least once.
At least once.
And that is our question queue cleared.
Cool. Yeah, I guess another big thing that we will probably see soon that I forgot to mention is they'll probably remove this QD arm. I suppose they could modify it in place, but I think it's
scrap
probably
it.
easier to remove.
Scrap it and rebuild a new one. That's what I say.
Yeah, it is possible that they could just completely scrap it as well too. I'm not sure. It's a little bit different structurally than the one for Pad B, right?
Yeah, and they modified it and the one in Florida for 39. It's actuator attachment.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to see those details from this side. But yeah, as you can see, during the flyover, it was being lifted or tilted over. So they have all these chain hoists on the side of it, which as they are lifting it, they use the chain hoist to level it out. So I think they had 2 cranes supporting it at one point just to get it off the ground. And that was until they started using the chain hoist to tilt it, which took a very long time. But really cool catching it during that process. You can just see that this arm is just so much cleaner, not just because it's painted, but just all of the gas panels and everything that they have inside of here, just way cleaner the way this is organized, and with all of the pipes up on the top versus I think the other ones are through here, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just way, way nicer. And as of today, it is, last night, it is now on the tower. I think it's still being supported by the crane currently.
Yeah, they lifted it this morning.
Was it this morning? I thought
they rotated it yesterday, and they sat it next to the tower because they ran out of daylight. And then when they got enough daylight today, they lifted it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so glad to see that installed. I think they'll get to working on the extension part of this, and hopefully in a few weeks or months that'll be ready. What is the other thing I was thinking? Have they got all the cryo lines done in the tower? Like those
those
connection points?
Yeah, those were installed a long time ago.
But
well, I know the actual cryo lines are there, but I don't know if the where the swivel joints attach to, if those are finished.
I think
actually it's on the other side of the tower. I don't think I can see that.
I think Starship Gazer had a photo this morning that looks like some of that work had been done.
Yeah, it's very difficult to see it through here with all the scaffolding.
Yeah, in this image, they're definitely not there yet. Because they're in line with the hinges.
Yeah. So,
that platform right in the middle of that strut of the hinge point is where one of them would be.
Yeah, I need to see some ground shots of that for sure. Yeah, really glad that they've finally, that was like the biggest thing that we've been waiting for forever. They still have the actuator down here, which will probably go on after they have it fully mounted onto the tower. So that'll probably happen this week if I had to guess. Let's see, what else do we have? I have like 100, so many pictures of the water farm down here. I don't think I need to show any of those though. I asked Mauricio to do an orbit of the water farm because I was looking for some things. So I don't know if there's really anything necessary to show down here for the purpose of this show.
They're painting the weirs.
Yes, they have started painting this as well. But most of the water farm seems to be complete. There are some things still missing down here. Like they haven't gotten this set up. I don't know. I feel like they're not done. There's just things that I feel like are missing here that aren't currently present. I'm not going to go too deep into it right now. But yeah, the other mystery item is that other large pipe that's just like goes to the base of the launch mount, which is not connected to anything yet. So I feel like there's still some things left to do down here, or maybe that just be for a future edition should it become necessary. But yeah, I think they're mostly done on that.
I think they're done with the high pressure side. The high pressure, the isolation purging is what they called it. But the switching, like, it doesn't seem like it's changed much.
Almost. I think they're almost done, not quite finished though.
Oh, there's still a few pipes there.
Yeah, I think as soon as Massey's done, they'll be back on this.
Yeah. I'm guessing these were the cryo pipes you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, the skinny ones. Yeah, that big bundle.
Let's see. Yeah, so like I said, not much to talk about for the actual cryo stand itself. Or sorry, the water farm area. The launch mount, though, they did remove the backside of this QD for the LOX QD again. Not sure why. Do you guys have any ideas on that?
The seal plates, which
They're
two pictures over. And the other, yeah, that'll work too. Right there.
yeah.
Yeah, that was always weird that they didn't add those in first
Yeah.
before lifting it.
And from the ground shots, the methane hood really needs them.
Yeah, like neither of them fit. Like they just look off. So the seal plates should hopefully fix that, and they'll look a little more aligned.
And the only thing that's interesting in this shot on the ring, the top, like at 3 o'clock, if you go straight across, now over along with the trench, the arm that's 3 over from the lock side, facing.
Are you talking about 3 over?
Yeah, right there. 1 over to the left. Yeah, that one has the start of the door linkages.
Oh yeah, I see that. I see the linkage
Sure.
right there.
Yep.
Nice. So
Finally.
might finally get some doors installed soon.
Hope so.
Is it this one?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
you
barely see it. I don't even know how you caught that.
Issues. Deep-seated issues.
Really hard to see things from some angles, but yeah, you can see it right there. Yeah, they did also obviously remove the testing jig that they had, so they finished all of that, and I imagine that thing will get sent to Florida at some point. But yeah, great progress on this. I think it's going to be a little bit until we see them actually test the deluge system for the water-cooled plate. But yeah, once that scaffolding is gone, I think we'll probably see it. And I don't know. I have a feeling that they're going to want the doors installed on these two first.
I think what they'll do is they'll finish the 2 hoods, they'll install all the doors, clean everything up, and you'll have a completely cleared trench and plate, and they'll fire the whole thing all at once, which will be amazing to see.
Yeah, one big thing though is they still haven't closed up the plates. There's like 4 holes in them on the side. So once we see them close those up, it'll be a sign that they're getting close to being ready to test it as well. What else? Yeah, they're like, it's crazy that Pad B is like pretty much ready to go. In a lot of ways, still like little punchless items to finish, but they're getting. I feel like they were going to be ready by the time Booster 18 should have been ready, and now I feel like they get to slow down a little bit and kind of take their time on the remaining stuff. But yeah, we've seen a lot of testing on the QDs this week. A lot of quick retraction tests. And they did, I think, at least one deluge test this past week.
Don't think they've done one in the last
Or
week.
was it the week before?
I mean, in the week before that they did one.
Yeah.
This is the longest that trench has been scaffolding free.
Yeah, it's almost they still got some mounts in there for it, but I have a feeling they'll clean that out entirely because I don't know what else work they need to do in that thing.
Yeah, it looks incredible though.
Yeah, it does. When this thing is all said and done, get like a long way shot looking like through the trench from the air, just to see it all completed. It'll look so cool.
Yeah. I'm certainly excited for it. Let's see. Do we have anything I didn't cover on this? I feel like I was trying to avoid going over 3 hours, which I feel like I've done a good job of so far. So
Ryan and I could change that really quick.
Yeah, we could change that real quick.
yeah, I could as well for you. But do we have any questions for Pad B?
Yeah, I just want to start off with a donation from Seijin for $20 saying, thanks for the weekly Starbase images and updates. So a question from Drew Na. Any updates, any update guesses on what those plates over the BQDs are?
Oh, those things that are on the hoods.
Oh,
Are you, which ones?
I think they're talking
reflectors.
about those.
Yeah, the reflectors on the top.
We thought it had something to do with like alignment of making sure that they're aligned properly. Like they had something attached to these at one point. But I feel like that was whatever they did with that was before they installed the doors onto here.
The deformation of the OLM mount deck when they were doing the proof tests on the arms. It's my theory.
Wait,
When
what?
they were load testing
Yeah,
the building to see how much it deformed or something.
Yeah, using some microwave synthetic aperture for displacement testing. That's my theory, but it could be off in cray land.
Aren't we all?
Some of us more than others, but yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Next question.
Yep. Next up is from Tony P123. What are they going to use for a work platform under Pad 2?
As of right now, nothing. Scaffolding.
Yeah, I don't think they'll have a need for it, honestly.
Yeah, because if they got to do engine work on a booster, then they take it back like they've constantly been doing. Because I honestly think the dance floor for the OLM was far more for actual pad work than it was for booster work.
We're taking the hoods. I mean the covers from the Raptor. But for booster work in front of on the lifting pad, it looks like they're potentially adding stuff there.
It looks like they're add something to do some kind of stuff there. Yeah, that.
Yeah, they have pressure lines leading to the tower.
Yeah, and pressure and electrical, so that when they have a vehicle there, they can hook it up.
Yeah, pressurize it and probably do any sort of works that they may or may not need to do.
Next up, if we're going to go to the next one, we've got a question from Cooper Foster. Why 2 QDs for V3?
Basically, they're kind of. I feel like part of it has to do with the fact that they added a ton of things onto them, and so putting them right next to each other would have been a tight fit, and it would have made the booster QD way bigger than it was before. So I feel like part of it has to do with that, and also they just wanted to separate methane from the oxygen because of gases that were building up inside of the hoods. So now that they're separated, they don't have methalox mixtures being created inside of the hood. So I think that was a big part of it, and also the amount of the plumbing that going into the booster, I feel like was probably difficult for them to accomplish if they had the QDs right next to each other, because there's just so many small manifolds inside of the booster and on the exterior as well too. So I think they just needed to spread stuff out.
Yeah, if they kept with that single BQD plate, I don't know how they do that triple Y split that they have off the lock side. Right, that's on B18. I don't know how they do that with with a methane plus a locks right next to each other. That would be tricky.
Cool.
If that's everything, our final question is about Booster 18, saying, oh no, one's just come in, but from Emmanuel Otto. If the COPVs were the cause of the RUD, how could SpaceX mitigate the risk of them exploding other than just reducing pressure like they claimed for after Ship 36?
Sorry. So he's talking about like
Miti-
on ship 36 how they're
mitigation.
reducing the pressure and adding more COPVs.
Yeah, mitigations for it.
Honestly, I thought they may have already been doing that on the booster. I thought that was part of the reason why they had so many COPVs was because they were trying to like fill them half as much as they were before and spreading it through more COPVs. So I thought that was part of the reason why there's so many of them. But I mean, until if this is a COPV issue, then maybe SpaceX in their investigation report, like during the next launch, they may say something about it, and then we'll know if they had already divided. Like, because they mentioned it for Ship 36, so I imagine if there is a procedural change, they will mention that they're doing a procedural change, or they'll mention that they already had done one, and that was like just to make people aware that they had already addressed the issue, and this is something completely different. So yeah, I don't know. I think we'll hear more about it during the next launch.
What they're kind of asking is, what do you think that they could do to help mitigate the risks of having this happen again? Like what kind of thing, like more shielding or something like that? Like what do you think they could do?
I mean, like the thing is we don't really know what the root cause was. It could have been shrapnel from something else. It could have been an overpressure or whatever. But if you get a COPV to explode, there really is nothing you can do. The kind of mass of like shielding you would need to stop that kind of shrapnel would weigh down the booster almost entirely to protect it every single COPV. Like, yeah, that there really
Yeah.
is no way to do it. Basically, you need to make sure it just doesn't happen. Is your best bet.
And they're everywhere in aerospace,
Yeah,
in natural gas vehicles, hospitals, people playing paintball.
airplanes.
Yeah,
Like they
they're
the
big.
people. Well, you say COPV, but it's a composite bottle, is all it really is, and they're used literally everywhere. It's just for some reason SpaceX has been a bit unlucky with them recently.
And
Don't know why,
it
but
it might not if one of the valves filling it had some sort of issue, that could have caused everything, because depressing those quickly, from experience, is very violent. That's all I'm gonna say. But
that's
yeah,
what they tell us.
and I mean they could be. There's like Type 4 and Type 5. Just from the looks of it, it looks like they're using Type 4, which, I mean, they make some that you can go up to ridiculously, like 14,000 psi. So there's a whole gamut of COPVs in the world that if that's it, they can probably go to one of the manufacturers and get a custom grade made.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's too difficult to speculate on this topic without knowing a specific reason. Like, I don't think that they should or would install like shielding to protect it. Like, that's just, I feel like that's addressing the wrong thing. Like, you should address it at the source instead of protecting against the issue. So yeah, I wouldn't expect to see physical changes in the form of shielding or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is like a procedural thing that we're never gonna be able to speculate on the solution for. It's like something that either they'll tell us or they won't. But without knowing the exact cause, I think it's basically impossible to speculate on that. Cool. Awesome. Well, um, yeah, I'm surprised we were able to keep this under 3 hours. um, but yeah, like I said, I was really excited that we got to see the internals on Booster, but definitely upset that this was the way we saw it. I was honestly thinking that if there was a chance, it would be after Booster 18. Its aft section is recovered from the ocean. I thought that would probably be the only chance that we had of seeing the inside. So, unfortunately, this event ended up allowing us to learn things that we would otherwise not have. But I don't know. I feel like this year SpaceX has had a lot of issues. They've also seemed to have solved all of the ones they've had so far. So, I do expect that they'll have a quick resolution to this, and it probably won't be too much of an impact on the program. Luckily, it didn't damage any infrastructure, which is one of the most important things, I guess, after making sure that no humans were injured. So yeah, I think that overall it's not a huge deal. I've seen a lot of doom and gloom online, but I don't think most of that is really necessary. So yeah, I think we'll see some quick progress, and hopefully by next show, we'll have seen them start to stack Booster 19. So until then, I did want to thank Alex and Ryan for helping me out today, and also the other Alex for taking over questions and donations for us today, and Matt, of course, for running the stream. And last but not least, as always, Mauricio for getting up there and taking some phenomenal images. It's really just crazy how, and this isn't like a dig on anybody else, but just crazy how being at twice the altitude, he's able to get almost 4 times higher quality images. So really amazing talent taking images like that from the air. So definitely appreciate all the effort that he puts into that each week. So yeah, with that said, I will pass this off to either Alex or Ryan, whoever takes it.
Yeah, okay. Thanks. Glad for being here. And Ryan, I think we were right that we would see the interior of 18. But like Zach said, not like this. So yeah, fun show, and talk to everybody later. Ryan?
Yeah, I have to agree. It's cool to see, but not like this. It stinks. I was so excited for it to go out and cryo, and then we get it on this pad and see a static fire with this trench. But it is one that stings. But they'll build B-19 and they'll keep moving.
March, March, March.
All right, and with that, that will be the end of Starbase Weekly, episode 178. Thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out. Just as a reminder, we have Patreon. All of our members get all of the pictures nice and up close and high quality. So feel free to go on over there and subscribe and sign up. And yeah, we will see you guys on the next one. So most engines cut off, hot staging confirmed. Love you, bye.